Nothing is good. I do like a man, young you would get a view. A book, all and dig a weekend. I don't know which I would lay with him. He's in the bike, I can bike and the Malay, you man, and the did the man, and the bigger. Hello, dear Jamba. You get it on a young day, go to now. I you need it in a palangi by now. I know the buying area. You need you what you go and I shall have bandit from good. You can get a cave. And a banana roll of boom, and go back a little Anisha Gamburi, Kana Shana Dipani Panida Wally, Panida Zoria, Pana Kutu, Yokana Jana, and Nadania Gela Jordan, Dena Yadi Jamijan, Bagana, you get I Jordan, the Ganya, Dena Yadi Jamijan, you get I Jordan, the Ganya, I would not you do. I get around the dinner, I think I will buy a I think you know, then I get around the guy. Anisha Gabudi, Panashana, Panidem, Panida Kunde, Panicha Gori, Pana Kutu, Panajana, and then you get a Jordan. The Dinga Yadi, Dammission, the beg you get a Jordan, the guy, the Dinga Yadi, Dammission, the I would not you. I eat a rum to dinner or I drink a very white gallon. I think you know, didn't I get the rum that I eat.
When I grew up playing basketball, we learned about teamwork and respect, even if we were on different sides. I'm Teresa Greenfield. I don't care if it's a Republican idea or a Democratic idea, just if it's a good idea.
Peter Baba, Yawa, Wiseman Promotion.
Dream Production.
Waye banji kirmayara jabuko you know be na kurben jalmya.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Billy Luke. I'm coming live today to address the topic of federalism. Federalism has become another viral topic of the week. And so I'm here today to actually come and share with you the topic of federalism in South Sudan being argued by the political parties. So I'm here to invite all of you so you can actually join me on the studio so we can come and interact and have this discussion about it. So you can read the topic there. The topic is stated very clearly that South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system. Nevertheless, it requires a constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. So this is basically what this topic is all about. And I believe you should be able to understand that. And I want you guys to share the video. Then you can join me.
Waye banji kirmayara jabuko you know be na kurben jalmya. Waye banji kirmayara jabuko you know be na kurben jalmya. I will react by I will react by I support you. I support you. Anano more banya biawaya yakelo no banya loide banya biawaya yakelo anano more banya biawaya yakelo no banya loide banya biawaya I support you. I support the Panama, you will see you are until you bring a little you know the area. With Yazi, what we could do, but I'm calling you, Kaya. I support the way Banji get my yara, Jacob, you know, being a good Benjamin. I'm really the pretty boy, which I'm going to run the Lunga, way Banji get my yara, Jacob, you know, being a good Benjamin. I'm really the pretty boy, which I'm going to run the Lunga, way Banji get my yara, Jacob, you know, being a good Benjamin. I'm really the pretty boy, which I'm going to run the Lunga, I will react by Mugateki and react by you away. I will react by Mugateki and react by you away. You will see you will until when you win you do the with Yazi, what we could do, but you can call you Kaya. I support the Panama, you will see you were until when you bring a you know the with Yazi, what we could do, but you can call you Kaya. I support the Panama, you will see you were until when you bring a you know the with Yazi, what we could do, but you can call you Kaya. I support the Anano Mor, Banya Biawaya, Yakalana Mor, Banya Lloyd, Banya Biawaya, Yakaloja, Banya Mor, Banya Biawaya, Yakalana Mor, Banya Lloyd, Banya Biawaya, you will see you were until Banya you know the with Yazi, what we could do, but you call you Kaya. I support the Panama, you will see you were until when you bring a you know the with Yazi, what we could do, but you call you Kaya. I support the Panama, you will see you were until when you bring a you know the with Yazi, what we could do, but you call you Kaya. I support the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Billy Look. Today's program is about federalism in South Sudan. So basically speaking, the introduction is very clear. And some of you can actually read it down there on the screen. This is actually streaming live underneath there, so you can go along and read it. It is stated very clearly, South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system. Nevertheless, it required the constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. So I think that statement is very clear. That according to my understanding, as Billy Look, I believe that South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system. However, it required the constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. So that is exactly what it is now in South Sudan. According to my understanding, the way South Sudan government is structured right now actually demonstrates the federal system of the governance system. So that's what it is. But the only difference is why it does not look like a practical federal system is the fact that the powers of the government are not being separated. That means the presidency of South Sudan is actually controlling controlling and maintaining the powers of both the national and the state government under one leadership, that is under the presidency of South Sudan. So that's why it doesn't look exactly like a federal system. So in my own definition, you should understand as South Sudanese that South Sudan is actually a federal system, but the powers of the government, both the state and the federal government, are being centralized. So the problem here, why it doesn't look like a practical federalism, is the fact that all the powers of the state government and the national government are being centralized under the presidency of South Sudan. And that's why it doesn't look like a real practical federalism. Therefore, what we have to do as the citizen of South Sudan is to push for the political reform and to push for the constitutional amendment of this structural system of the government of South Sudan in order to become a practical federalism that we are actually aspiring to become in South Sudan. So this requires the decentralization and the devolution of the powers to the state government and the devolution of powers to the national government. That means what we require here is the separation of the powers. But under the current system, it is only the president of South Sudan that is actually controlling all the powers. That's why you see President Salva Kiir Mayardit is always the one to appoint the governors, which is actually contrary to the ideal of the federal system. It is also the president of the country that is always appointing the ministerial portfolio of the government of South Sudan, which is actually unquestionable. But the reason why it doesn't look like a federal system is the fact that Salva Kiir Mayardit is the one in charge of all the states. He's the one responsible for the appointment of the governors and controlling the governing system of all these state government. So this is actually why it doesn't look like a real federal system administratively and the way it is being managed. So administratively speaking, South Sudan is not a federal system. But structurally speaking, the way the government is being structured actually demonstrates the model of the federal system. And therefore, that's why I believe South Sudan is already a federal system. However, what is required here is the constitutional amendment to actually advance the separation of the powers between the state and the national government. That is how we want to make it functional to be practically seen as a practical federalism. So this is exactly what we have to feel as a citizen of South Sudan, so that we have to call for the constitutional amendment of the administrative and management of the government system and its structure. So what we have to demand as a citizen of South Sudan is to actually call for the devolution of the powers and the decentralization of the government powers, so that each and every state will be able to introduce and govern themselves in accordance to their own state law policies, but it will only be incumbent upon the federal government or the national government of South Sudan to be able to govern the federal or national government. That means it will be the constitutional responsibility and obligation of the president of South Sudan to actually appoint ministerial portfolio, take care of the national army, print the currency of the nation, provide the infrastructural development to the entire government of South Sudan, and to also make sure they fund all the state government. But the state government have to be left alone, to operate, elect their own governors, elect their own MPs for the gubernatorial legislative assemblies, elect their own county commissioners, and elect their own Payam and Buma administrators without being interfered by the presidency or by the federal government. So the federal government should only be confined to the national level, and they will not be allowed to have a say in the gubernatorial governorship. That means all the states across South Sudan will be left to elect their own governors, elect their own state MPs, elect their own county commissioners, Payam administrators and Buma administrators, and all the constitutional positions required to be elected as per the constitution of those respective states across South Sudan. But the government of South Sudan, which is actually going to be the federal government or national government, in other way around, will only be responsible for the appointment of the ministers, the national ministers. That means the formation of the cabinet of the federal government or the national government will be up to the elected president of the government of South Sudan. Whereas all the national MPs that come and assemble in the National Legislative Assembly or in the Congress of the South Sudan, they should be elected by their respective constituencies across South Sudan. And it should not be up to the central government or the national government of South Sudan to have a say about who should be elected by the people of those respective states across South Sudan. So all the MPs that are actually going to be converging or assembled in the National Legislative Assembly should also be elected by the people of these respective states across South Sudan. So this is how we are actually going to call for the devolution and the decentralization of the powers. So what is required here is the absolute separation of powers between the state and the national government. And this is not going to be done through political process. It's not going to be done through the political agreement. It has to be done through the parliamentary or legislative process, which in other way around, it requires the constitutional amendment to be done. So we have to make sure we separate the powers. Currently, as we speak, South Sudan is structurally the federal system. However, the system requires the constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. And this is exactly what is supposed to be done. And it has to be done through legislative process. So it is not up to the politician of a certain political briefcase parties to make a decision about this. But anyway, yes, they can actually make a political point about it, that they are actually demanding the reform of the system. But this is actually going to be left to the parliamentarian to make a decision about how this is going to be reformed. So this has to be done comprehensively, because all of us as South Sudanese are for the federal system. Nobody is opposed to federalism. Maybe there could be some briefcase parties out there that are opposed to the idea of federalism. But in real sense, as we speak, South Sudan is structurally a federal system, and it requires the constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. So we should all understand that. Nobody is against the federalism. Already South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system, contrary to the administrative and management structure in that case. But the way it is being structured, that's why we have the national government and we have the state government. So I don't see any political logic behind the other briefcase political parties claiming that they are actually fighting for federalism. South Sudan is already a federalism. And what is only required at this moment is to actually call for the constitutional amendment. And that's why we have to give South Sudan a chance of peace, stability, and tranquility to be restored in our country. Once that is done, that's when we can actually be able to allow the conduct of the free and fair democratic election to take place in South Sudan. Once that is done, that's when we will be able to follow up with the other constitutional amendment or political process, which can actually be done through parliamentary process. So that's why we need to give peace, stability, and tranquility a chance. That way, we will be able to enable the constitutional amendment to take place in the future. So that means all our parliamentarian or representative to the National Legislative Assembly will have that opportunity to be able to exercise this political expectation of the people of South Sudan. So this is basically what we have to call for, and we have to support it. So basically, South Sudan is structurally structurally a federal system. However, what we require at this point is the constitutional amendment. It is very clear. So politicians should not go around beating the bush and claim that they want to have a federal system in South Sudan. South Sudan is already a federal system. So what we require from you is actually to allow the restoration or resumption of the peace, stability in our country. That way we can actually go about it through political process. And if we continue to actually undermine the implementation of the bilateral peace agreement, I don't see how we can actually progress with these changes and expectation that we want to see materialize in South Sudan. So I just want to bring it to your attention, South Sudanese, that South Sudan is structurally a federal system, and all we want to see happen is the materialization of the constitutional amendment. And we cannot be able to do any constitutional amendment when all these political parties, all these briefcase parties are out there, calling for change, calling for reform when they are not even in the country. Some of them are out there within the system of the government, but still they continue to undermine the practical implementation of the revitalized peace agreement and its implementation. And this is what is actually complicating the progress of the revitalized peace agreement. So we need to expedite the practical implementation of the peace agreement so that we can actually enable the conduct of the free and fair democratic election. Once that is done, we will be able to elect new leaders, whether new MPs or new president, that will be able to exercise the execution of this expectation of the people of South Sudan. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to inform you that South Sudan is structurally a federal system, and you should understand that. So all that we require to see happen is the separation of powers between the national government and the state government. As we speak administratively, all the powers of the state government and the national government are concentrated under the office of the presidency. And that's where everything goes wrong. And that's what undermines this current structure of the government of South Sudan. But basically speaking, we are already a federal system. What we need to do is simply just a constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism, for you to come to realization that we have a federal system. That is where each and every state will be allowed or will be permitted to actually exercise their own state legislative assembly. They will be able to exercise their own economic growth and job creation, and they will have to actually generate their own strategies how to make money for their own state. So this is only when you are given that opportunity as a citizen of those particular states of South Sudan to be able to elect their own governors. So people will be able to compete in their own state, and they will be able to elect whom they trust for whatever political promise that they promise to fulfill to those particular states. So we are actually looking forward to the implementation of that expectation. But at this point, I just want to bring it to your attention that South Sudan is already is structurally the model of the federal system. However, all we just required now is the constitutional amendment so that we can be able to. Yes, I have the link there, Brother Magog. So please join me. I don't know if link is not allowing you guys, and then I will send it to you one-on-one. I will go and send it to you, Magog. Stay tuned. And so you can join me. Anyone who want to join me in the studio, please. If you cannot actually if you cannot access the link there, then I will send you directly, so you can join me right away. Sorry for that inconvenience if you cannot actually open the link. So let me share the link so some of you can actually join me to make the conversation interesting. At this point, I cannot just go it alone.
Upgrade to watch videos ad-free, offline, and in the background. Start a free trial of YouTube Premium today.
General Magog, let me send you the link.
Right to all like a man, Yaring young, I won't tell you. Then go up to the all and the I don't know which I would lay the name. He's in your Maya, you can buy them. Malade, you man, and the big man, and the bigger. And now I did it, you said it, and I don't go now. I say, you need to send a balang, by now. I know better by the area.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for your information, South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system. However, it is not administratively a federal system in the way it is being administered or being governed at this point. That's what I can agree with you. However, you should understand that according to the current governmental structure, the way the government is actually being structured in the form, that is why we have the state government and we have the national government. That means we have two systems here. But administratively speaking, it doesn't look like a practical federal system. Why? It is because all the powers of the state government and the national government are being concentrated under the presidency. And that's why it doesn't look like a practical federal system. But structurally speaking, it is already a federal system. So what is required at this moment is to call for the constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. None of us here as South Sudanese is not opposed to the idea of federalism. I believe I'm for the state to elect their own governors, elect their own MPs, whether they are going to be national MPs or state MPs, county commissioners, Payam and Buma administrators. They have to be elected by the people of those particular states across South Sudan. However, all the powers at this point are being concentrated. That means all the powers are being centralized. So this idea of centralization of the powers of both the national and the state government is the reason why it doesn't look like a federal system. But in real sense, South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system. So we required the constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. So that's what you need to understand as Genevieve. Because I don't like the idea that these briefcase political parties go around saying that South Sudan, they are looking for the federal system to be introduced in South Sudan. And my argument as an independent freelance activist is that South Sudan is already a federal system according to the structure of the government. That's why we have the national government and we have the state government. But the only difference in what I can agree with the critic and the political parties is the fact that all the powers of the state and the powers of the national government are being concentrated under the presidency of South Sudan. That is where we go wrong by the federal system. So what we simply need at this point is to allow the peace and stability to come to our country. That way we will be able to materialize the constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. And this is how we can be able to achieve the democratic system in South Sudan, whereby each and every citizen in each and every state of South Sudan will be able to elect their national MPs, elect their state MPs, elect their county, Payam, and Buma administrators, as well as the governors, without being appointed by the national government. We are sick and tired of this redundant political appointment. And that's why the system is broken to the core And that's why we are suffering at this point. So we need to actually allow the peace to take effect. That way we can be able to materialize this political change that we want to see happen in South Sudan. I believe all of you should understand that. Magog, Gerald Magog, I send you the link, please. Anybody who want to have the link can actually send me a text message and I will willingly send it to you. So please do not hesitate to ask for it. I don't know why I keep posting it, but it's not going through. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe you can be able to open it there on the screen. Maybe I should post it here so some of you can be able to see it. Maybe I should pass it here so some of you can be able to read it on the screen. Yeah, that is the access there. You can actually access the link. Join the forum, guys. I sent you the link already. Those of you who requested it.
Anisha Gawudili, Pana Chana Ditani Dengwang, Pana Taukunde, Pana Chagore, Pana Kutu, Yoke, Kunu Pana Chana, and then you get a Jordan. Didn't I yet get a mission by? I beg you get a Jordan, the line, and I yet get a mission by. I
Go ahead and check your inbox. I sent the link already to some of the guests who request to join. That's why I'm standing by to actually accept your invitation. So I don't know why. If you cannot access the link, please let me know. Otherwise, I apologize for that inconvenience it caused you. But let me know how you are going through this connection. Thank you. Well, I will continue to brief you on the topic, so I don't want to bore you. But the topic is really clear. Some of you can read it there. Like I keep repeating myself, South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system. Nevertheless, it required a constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. That is what we need in South Sudan. Administratively speaking, it is actually true to the critic and to the opposition parties that South Sudan doesn't look like a federal system, simply because all the powers of the state government and the national government are concentrated under the presidency of South Sudan. And that's why it doesn't look exactly like a federal system. Therefore, what we require at this point is to enable the political process and constitutional amendment to actually reform the system to make it look like a real federal system. And how do we do that? Is to actually call for the devolution of the powers, decentralization of the powers, and make sure we absolutely separate the powers of the state and the national government. That is how we will be able to have a practical federalism in South Sudan. So that each and every state in South Sudan will be able to elect their own governors, will be able to elect their own national MPs, will be able to elect their own state MPs, will be able to elect their own county commissioners, Payam and Bumo administrator. They will be elected by the people. They will no longer be appointed by the president of South Sudan. That is where the system goes wrong. And that's why the system continues to dictate the better direction in which we want to go about this country. So this is another model of imposing the democracy in our country. I know this is not an easy way to go about it, but it is actually a very difficult path. We have to go through this gradually as time goes. And I believe all of you should agree with me on this matter, that South Sudan require an absolute reformation so that we can be able to materialize all these political expectations as per the demand of the people of South Sudan. But at this point, it appears that everything is actually being dictated, and that's why we cannot make it realistic in practical sense. So Magog, I'm still waiting for you. Welcome, James. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
good to see you here.
Good to see you
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So the topic of today is about federalism. The topic of federalism has become a viral topic. It has become a trending topic of the week because all these briefcase political parties are actually complaining about the lack of this governing system, which is actually to serve the best interest of the people of South Sudan. So they are actually demanding that federal system have to be adopted and imposed in South Sudan, so that citizens of South Sudan will be able to determine who should lead them and what need to be done to them. So, but according to my personal understanding about the way South Sudan government is being structured at this point, I believe that South Sudan is already a model of the federal system. However, the only difference is when the powers of the state and the national government are not actually being separated. And that's where the system doesn't look like a practical federal system. So what I'm suggesting to the critic and the opposition parties out there is to actually realize that South Sudan is structurally a federal system, but what they need to do through their political process or constitutional amendment is to make sure they call for the separation of the powers. They make sure that the presidency of South Sudan must only control the national government or the federal system, while allowing the state to appoint their own governors, appoint their own national MPs, state MPs, county commissioners, Payam and Bumo administration. And then it will be up to the state to actually determine the future or the fate of the economic growth or job growth, whatever they can utilize in their capacity to generate the economic prosperity. But it should only be up to the national government to concentrate with the powers assigned or delegated to them, while the state government have to be left alone to actually consider the direction in which the state have to be governed. So that is up to each and every state to actually formulate and promulgate the policies governing them. So that is how we want to define the federal system. I have also seen there are some people that are calling for another governing system known as the parliamentary system, whereby they want to have a prime minister and they want to have a president. That means all the policies governing South Sudan have to be determined by the parliamentary system. But at this point, we have the federal system. So I don't know which direction do we want to go here. Do we want to go with the federal system, or do we want to go with the parliamentary system? So tell me about your perspective, how you perceive the current structure of the government of South Sudan and how it can be reformed or fixed. Thank you for joining me. And I'm looking forward to see more guests joining us. Thank you.
So is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I thank you, Trick, for inviting me, and I also appreciate everybody who is watching. I have actually pasted an article that I wrote in 2014 there in the chat tab. So that will be the center of my points, and I want to really list down my points. And like you said, South Sudan is structurally actually a federal government as we speak. It is decentralized, and if you look at most of the states, those states are actually governed by the people who live in those areas. If it was actually decentralized, you would see what Dr. John Garang was trying to do by rotating the governors around, and I think that would have been the best system if we actually saw what was coming in terms of the tribal a tribal society that we have. My argument in that paper that I wrote many years ago is that if we constitutionalize a federal system that is ethnic in nature, it is actually a recipe for breaking the country apart. Because, first of all, human development in South Sudan is still very low. If you look at the illiteracy rate in the country, it is more than 70%. I mean, illiteracy. Many years of intermittent conflicts have actually disadvantaged the population. A lot of young people, even the older generations, most of them have not gone to school. Everybody believes in their tribes. So you actually tell, because the disadvantage of a population that has more than 75% illiteracy rate is that these are the voting population. So if you run an election today and Bill Luke come with a program that has been very well documented, saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, no one will listen to you because they don't read it. What they will vote for, they will even prefer a sultan from the village who can give them money, who will go and steal from Juba to come and distribute that money to them, instead of investing the government money to benefit all the people in the state. You will actually find all these illiterate people coming around you trying to be bribed so that they can vote for you. This is the biggest problem. So what I propose is that constitutionalized federalism, ethnic federalism, must wait until that illiteracy rate is lowered so that we can prioritize human development in South Sudan as a new country. Let's build boarding schools and put all the children, regardless of tribe, in any boarding schools. Put all the girls to schools. Put all the boys to schools. That should be the priority. Train teachers. Some people think that sometimes I'm biased because I'm a teacher myself, but that's not always the case. Education is the number one priority of educating the people so that people can understand each other, right? What country in the world do you appoint a director who has never gone to school? Okay? If you have a system that is managed by people who just want to sit in the chairs and they do nothing and call themselves directors, inspectors, ministers, all kind of things, and they are not actually putting any input into the system, that is why you see South Sudan pound has slid. The value has gone down. I'm hearing that they want to change the currency, and I'm glad the president has resented it because of what happened a few weeks ago. I mean, within the last week. Okay, the pound has depreciated, and the reason is simply because the pound has left the bank and is actually following the smartest people who are making dollars, who have kept their their pound in the houses. Well, they want to translate into dollars so that they want to translate into dollars so that they don't have to take it to the bank because they don't trust people in the bank. So what we need as a new country is to prioritize human development. Once you have a very good human development, once you have a lot of people who are literate in the population and can actually vote for programs, then you can democratize the system. You can actually federalize the system so that the other any federal state will not only be for a particular ethnic group. I should be able to live anywhere in a federal system in the country that is a federal system without being discriminated. I should be able to get a land anywhere in South Sudan because I'm a South Sudanese citizen. But if you do that right now, my friend, Kokora will happen in the equatorial area. All the Dinkas and the Nuer will be sent to their homes, and then the other communities will retaliate and they will say, oh, we don't want these people to come and work in our community. And that is going to get worse. It's happening right now, but you know what? It's going to get worse if you actually put it in the constitution. So that is why I say that constitutionalized federalism must wait for now until we have a reasonable population that can actually vote for programs other than the ethnicities.
So, sorry to interject anyway, but I want to ask you a question. So what you appear to be hinting is the fact that you want to say the call for the constitutionalization of the South Sudan into a federal system has to wait as a concern of lack of human capitalism.
That's correct.
In South Sudan. Is that your concern?
That's exactly correct. And you know what? Federalism is not a bad system. America has it. Ethiopia has it. And Kenya actually has a devolution, and devolution is actually an equivalence of federalism, ethnic federalism. So you put it in the constitution, and then you actually say, okay, the president cannot fire a governor. Look at the ethnic war that is going on, because the generals, the politicians in a state are actually giving arms to the population. If the constitution bar the president from actually pulling out a governor and fire a governor that is dividing the community, then we will be in a big problem. You'll have a country where there is a civil war on one part and other people are moving on the other part. How can the president actually act? So what is there right now is we need time. We need time. Federalism is not bad. Federalism is a good thing, but it has to be run by more civilized people, more understanding people who will actually understand the benefits of it, the real benefits of it. But right now, if we do it, we're going to misuse it. It is going to be abused by tribal people, tribal politicians who just want to take advantage of a system they don't understand. That's my point.
No, but that means, Professor James Diok, you should understand that the current system, it means you actually agree with the president under the current system. They just want to be in status quo, when in fact South Sudan is already structured as a model of the federal system. However, the only difference here is the fact that they do not want to separate the powers of the national government and the powers of the state. So I think it would be more democratic, and this is how we can be able to democratize South Sudan if we allow the state to govern themselves and then decided the direction of their respective state in accordance to the demand of their citizens. And this is how we can be able to reform this country. So I think this is the best political strategy to bring about a real democratic system in South Sudan. If it is a concern, I understand. If it is a concern that you are actually worried about the idea of what you alleged as an ethnic federalism, then I think that can be defined in the Constitution. So let's allow the political process to take place so that constitutional amendment can be effected. That way, practical federalism can be achieved in a matter of short period of time, and this is how we can be defined to the people. So according to the current literacy rate, I believe majority of South Sudanese have already acquired an adequate education, and I believe they can be able to deliver this system. That's according to what I believe.
Well, that is not true.
So I don't see the reason why it should be delayed. It should be expedited now.
Billy, that is not true. If you look at the data that is produced by the UN, South Sudan's literacy rate is below 27%. I mean, literacy rate is below 27%. We're talking about numbers. We are not talking about the quality. The quality is there. But when you talk about the numbers are the most important thing, because this is what drives the population, right? You need to have people, voters who are actually literate enough, who live in the village, who have gone to school and know what they're looking for, so that they will vote for a person who is coming back to the community to actually serve and invest community resources, identify local economy. What I'm worried about is a population that only votes for, that is bribed. You bribe the chiefs, and even if you are illiterate as hell, they appoint you to go and sit in parliament for 5 years, and you say nothing. All you do is get your money and go home to take care of your children. Okay? The parliament in Juba, There are a lot of people who are sitting there. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. They just sit there. They are being accommodated. Okay? So if I don't agree with the president, I mean, you are actually accusing me with that, but I agree with the...
No. But the fact that you are saying we have to wait, this is exactly what Salva Kiir Mayardit is actually...
I mean, maybe if he's saying that,
on it, because we want this to be delayed, because this old guard or this ruling elite, they are afraid to see the real democracy being materialized in South Sudan, because that's what they fear of. And that's why you see they are actually trying to paint up this war generation who are educated and have acquired advanced education, not to go in the system.
Well,
simply because they don't want to see this materialization of the democracy.
No, I mean, you don't look at my perspective in a narrow standpoint. What I'm saying is, I agree with transformation of the system, create a system so that people do not work for individuals, so that people don't work at the mercy of the president, okay? Create a system. The executives need to be people who are competent, people who have integrity, not people who are bribing people. Okay?
But that is exactly what is happening right now.
Yes, so I also feel
what is happening right now. So if we allow the devolution or the decentralization of the powers of the state and the national government, that will actually make it a real federal system. That means citizens in each and every state across South Sudan will be left with the citizenry obligation and responsibility to elect their own leaders, elect their own governors, national MPs, state MPs, county commissioners, Payam and Bumo administrators. And this is how democracy will be able to thrive. So the democratization will come about in a matter of short period of time from the bottom upward. That means if the federal system will remain dictatorial, then the change will be actually effect from the grassroots. That means from all the state level. If the powers are only separate, this is another political strategy to actually break through for democratic change.
Billy, let me give you a very good example. Yeah, let me give you a good example. For example, in Unity State, before the crisis of 2013, in a Unity State where we were, for example, you had Taban Dengai, who is currently the first vice president, right? He was the governor. He was receiving 2% or whatever, 5% or 2% of the oil proceeds. Okay?
Yeah, it was 2% by then. Yeah.
2%. Yeah. Where was that money? Where is that money until now?
That money was pocketed by him then.
Exactly. So let's say, okay, if you look at the population of Unity State, for example, it was only a few people actually who questioned the governor, because what the governor did, he appointed ministers who actually know nothing, ministers who are not literate enough, ministers who don't have work experience. He bring them around him with the intention that he doesn't want to bring somebody like Billy Luke, because you are going to say, no, governor, we are not going to do this. We are not going to do this because it is going to do this. He doesn't want somebody like you, right? So until there was a crisis, during the second election in 2010, for example, I remember very well that the leadership in Ruang State, which was Pari and County by then, was responsible for making Taban win again. Okay? Because people inflated the votes.
The average people did not vote for Taban. They vote for Angelina Tang.
Yes, they were bribed. I mean, Angelina Tang would have won.
No, they were suppressed. Their vote was actually being suppressed, or it was actually being intentionally rigged for political interest. So that means you are actually trying to associate the corruption with the upright people that have nothing to do with the political manipulation or the rigging of the system.
So if you do that,
the rigging of the system here Mr. James, it's not being done by the average people or by the people whom you try to label as illiterate. You know, it's not a question of whether these citizens are illiterate or whether they are educated. You know very well our senior elders in the paramountship, their governing system is much better than the current system of South Sudan, if we look at it in the real context of definition. Because they don't have this kind of system, the system of so-called corruption system. Even if you go to the judiciary system of ruling today, you find some of these judges or some of these justices, they have become corrupted, which is actually again our traditional norms in which the judiciary system used to be run. You cannot bribe our senior elders, and you cannot bribe a sheep just because you want to get something for your interests. But
Billy,
this is why it comes to the people that people who are educated are the one corrupting the system. But if we allow the separation of the powers between the state and the government, I believe this is when we can be able to make a breakthrough for democratization of South Sudan. And that's why I believe it is strategically the best strategy or methodology we can use to enable the real reform to come to South Sudan.
Billy, I'm not even talking about the illiteracy of the leaders, okay? Because leaders can still come. But you know what? If you
because you have cited the statistic of the literacy rate. That's why
correct.
I'm telling
and I want to contextualize it. Just give me a minute, okay?
Go ahead.
Let's continue the example of Unity State. When the elections were announced, it was actually Taban who went to the media center and announced himself as the governor, right? In that evening, when that announcement was made, I know very well the population, they were all running to the media station, to the radio station, to go and attack anyone who was actually announcing the news. You know what happened? The police was deployed, the army was deployed, and 3 people were shot dead right outside the fence. Okay? This actually has a lot to do with illiteracy of the population, police and the army included. If you had a population where an army, a minimum requirement for somebody to enroll in the police force or in the army is a high school diploma, a very good high school education. Do you think, there would be likelihood that these people may not even shoot their own brothers? They will ask themselves, why are we doing this? Okay? They will even question, the people of ruling state would have even questioned themselves. They would have seen that Taban is not the holy grail for the system of Unity State, because he was actually taking advantage of the people, which is what people have now realized. Okay? Why wouldn't he vote for Angelina Tang? What's wrong with Angelina? Okay? She would have been a perfect governor. I know that. So what I'm saying is the literacy of the population is needed so that they can vote leaders who have programs, leaders who may be corrupt but intelligent enough to deliver, so that the gap is actually closed, the gap between corruption and the gap between productivity. Right now, there is too much corruption. A lot of money is being sucked out of the system and little is being put in. And that is why the value of the currency has slid, because productivity has become really very low. So what I'm saying is, if there was nobody coming from outside to pull out Taban Denga and remove him, he would have continued to actually use the name of democracy and federalism to exploit the people of Unity State. So I value the idea that there has to be a power outside in the center of the country. It could be Salva Kiir, it could not be him. Okay? It may be somebody else, but that power is needed by a state population where there are a lot of problems going on, where money is being stolen. So the constitution has to give the president that chance. So we can have a partial federal system like we have right now. It's okay, but you need a constitution that actually give the president the power to remove a governor when the governor become corrupt, when the governor become divisive, when the governor become unable to manage resources of a particular state. That's my point.
Yeah, okay. The reason why I don't agree with your point, James, is because the very same people that are actually practicing the rampant corruption across our country are actually literate people. In other way around, these are the very educated people. These are the very informed people about the system of the government. But they are the one corrupting the system, and they are the one manipulating. And now they have introduced this idea of corruption to become a culture in our society, which doesn't used to be there in our cultural values. So that's why I don't have to blame the argument of using the rate of illiteracy in our country as a political argument to put South Sudan on a whole as a result of that accusation. So that's why I say, I believe, strategically speaking, we should allow the proceeding of the implementation of the federal system, so that we can actually be able to expedite the democratization of South Sudan. And that is another political strategy to be able to bring a real reform to the national government. So let us argue that we have to separate the state powers and the national powers. That way we can be able to expedite the democratic system that we are looking for. And this is how citizens will be able to hold their respective MPs, whether they're national MPs or state MPs, state governors, county commissioners, Payam and Bumo administrators, to be able to be elected by the local people. And local people will be able to be educated about the policy, which are going to be exercised by those people that are going to run for the office. Where is the noise coming from? Okay, sorry. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, that is why we want to see the separation of the powers between the national government and the state government in order to materialize this concept of federal system. Otherwise, lack of decentralization and devolution of powers is the reason why the president of South Sudan is actually concentrating all the powers to his office. So he's the one responsible for appointing the governors. He's the one responsible for appointing the MPs or the MPs, even when those MPs are not in the interest of the people of the state where they're coming from. So this is where the dictatorship, or this is where the dictatorial system is actually dictating the interests of the people of South Sudan. Therefore, another political strategy to get rid of this is to actually push for the federal system to be materialized in South Sudan. So welcome, Guyball. Thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to see more guests joining us. So, Mr. James, I think that is the point of argument. Let us not use the accuse of illiteracy rate as a matter of delaying the execution of the federal system in our country. I believe, politically speaking, it should be the best idea, and it should be the best methodology used at this point to expedite the democratization of South Sudan. Otherwise, we are going to wait forever to see something happen in South Sudan, which I don't think will actually happen if we don't allow this opportunity to take place right now. So thank you. I think if you have any response, you can jump in before I give a podium to Guyball.
You mute him. I think you mute him.
Okay, he's supposed to mute himself.
Yeah, sometimes the problem with your show is that you actually invite people as the host, and then you dominate it yourself.
Well, I have to contrast you.
Change that.
I have to contrast you if you are presenting your view. So go ahead.
Okay, you
Yeah.
need to change that.
Go ahead.
Right, let me come in. Okay, what I'm saying, I don't need to be taken out of context. Okay, I just want to be objective enough and inclusive enough nationwide. The president does not have to be the current president. If South Sudanese need a smarter president, what we need is lay down arms everywhere in the bush, come home, so that we can organize a credible election. Go for election, vote Salva Kiir out. Okay? Let us vote for a smarter president if we don't like him. That way we have somebody who is very smart in the center. They are actually going to look for smarter leaders everywhere, because our biggest problem is the leaders we have at the grassroots level. They are actually they are the worst who are exploiting the population. If you send a smarter person in Upper Nile, for example, someone who is going to unite the communities, someone who is not going to instigate tribalism there in the villages and bring people together. Okay, make sure that the culture of appointing people is competency. Let's say, for example, a constitution that say we need a party, we need somebody. Okay, equity is a good thing. So we need somebody who is from Gajang, for example. That person has to be somebody with these qualifications. Okay? So it doesn't matter where that person is brought from, you can go outside the country and get that individual. If you need somebody who has actually studied petroleum and management, go and get that person. If you want somebody from Murley, you need to specify that person. Don't just go and pick somebody from the village who has never sat in the office just because he's from Murley. This is the challenge of South Sudan. That's why I'm saying, if we don't actually define what illiteracy is, and let me tell you, Billy, illiteracy or literacy is not about learning how to read and write. You can actually go to ESL, learn how to read and write. Are you literate enough? No. Literacy is actually having emotional intelligence and being able to do things practically, so that you can sit in the office and make a plan, make a decisions that can actually stand the test of time. That is what it means to be literate. It's not only knowing how to read and write and speaking good English. That is not what literacy is. Okay?
Yeah, but in most cases, those who are holding ministerial posts and holding the posts of the governorship are mostly people who are actually holding a bachelor degree, master degree, but it's still the result is just very, very devastating to the national.
That's not everything. A bachelor degree or a master degree is just a paper.
So why is that? That's why I don't believe that argument.
Give Guy Ball a chance. Guy Ball, welcome.
Yeah, Guy Ball, welcome. Yeah.
Yes.
Your own perspective, and we veer off the topic a little bit, but you can start basically on the main topic.
Thank you, Mr. Oath, Billy Lug and James Mayik. Thank you. I love this topic. I like it very much, because this is a thing I talk about all the time, 24/7. And so I like that. So it seems to be now Billy Lug is to understand the fundamental problem of South Sudan. That's what we're talking about all the time. That's what we've been fighting for. And that's why we disagree with Salva Kiir, because under Salva Kiir leadership, there is no such thing called any democracy system, whether in federal level or state. Whether in a state that is not in a county, you cannot see anything. Too much, absolute power from the top. Salva Kiir is surrounded by those who can never be elected by the people of South Sudan. That's why they like Salva Kiir. They associate themselves to Salva Kiir, and that's why Salva Kiir, appointed them. And so that's the problem. And these people, they are not even staying in the state they represent. A majority of them, they live in Juba, in motel, for almost how many years since we got our independence? Before that, during a referendum period. So, and this is the problem of South Sudan, because too much power to the president. And beside that, I don't think we do have a constitution. That's a definition of the country, because the country can never define by through leadership. Leadership is just come from the constitution. In our own country, South Sudan, new state in 21st century, new state in Africa, we don't have a constitution. Constitution will give right to every person in South Sudan. So we have no constitution. This is absolute power from Salva Kiir. Think about presidential degree. How many times Salva Kiir switched for the people? All right, from military to governorship, from governor to political. To military. Those who don't have an experience, they don't know what to do. They have a degree, PhD or master degree, a bachelor or associate degree. No, if you got your degree, you never work in government, so you cannot be assigned in big position. You need to work under something before you need to gain experience. Education itself is not something related to the work you can do, because you need experience. You need to be, trained. You need to work under somebody for time being, gain some more experience, so that you can be able to run for the big position. This is what we are facing in our country. In South Sudan, we have no constitution. The system under Salva Kiir is, outdated. Transitional constitution of South Sudan. This is what destroyed our country. All right. If we think about transitional, this is like our date, temporary. We are a new state. We should have already, a permanent constitution for the land. All right. You talk about democracy, and I think what is the topic? Yeah, let me read it here. So, Billy, look at this. In our country, South Sudan, you say South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system. Really, I don't think so. Look at, though we do have 10 states, that's fine. So in any state, do they have a state constitution? That's why they could be able to, to elect their own governor in each state? I don't think so. Look, all these state governor were appointed by Salva Kiir. County commissioners were appointed by Salva Kiir. State representative, like MP from federal and state, were all of them appointed by Salva Kiir. So where is pluralism here? There's no federal system in our country. So we should separate federal system from a state. We should have a constitution, a permanent constitution. There has to be a federal constitution, and there has to be a state constitution. So the state governor need to be elected by the people of the state. The same thing to the county commissioner need to be elected, not to be appointed by the state governor. That's the meaning of federalism we are looking for in South Sudan, because we came from different ethnic communities. We have a different culture. We have a hatred, tribal conflict before South Sudan independent. Think about our neighboring tribe. We have a lot of issues that what destroys South Sudan, because we have no federal government yet. What we have now in South Sudan is an independent South Sudan. That's it. Leadership, nothing. Government, no, don't talk about no government in South Sudan. So now, what we are demanding, what I can assume, if not 100%, South Sudanese are looking for federal system, federalism. Power has to be distributed between federal and state. There has to be federal government, and there has to be state government. So, and the governor, you need to be campaigning in your own state. People will elect you, not a president appointed you on people. And that's what we are destroying our country. They want to destroy our country. Salva Kiir, we never elect him. He was appointed after the death of Dr. John Garang. Don't tell me that 2010 there is election in South Sudan. No, it was for Sudan. We are waiting for our social option. We do. This is for Sudan, not for South Sudan. We never elect nobody yet in our country. We never elect nobody. If we elect Salva Kiir, we should have a constitution. So Salva Kiir, he was appointed after the death of Dr. John Graham. Until then, is still an appointed president or appointed leader, and that's what destroys South Sudan. If Salva Kiir appointed by the people, elected by the people of South Sudan, that should be a term limit, because in our country we need first term and second term. That's it. All right, maybe 10 years, that's fine, or 8 years. I can say 8 years, that's enough. If you are lucky, you win in the second term, and then you make 8 years. And that's the only system we are looking for in South Sudan, because think about tribalism, think about the culture. It will never work in South Sudan if some people supporting, anti-democracy and the system under Salva Kiir and his five-by president. We don't need that kind of system. In our own country, South Sudan, we are looking for democracy. We need a constitution which will be decided by the people of South Sudan, not to be decided by any political party. We need to have a referendum to make it a permanent constitution for South Sudan. So as
Thank you very much.
Look, you come into the point, and this is what we talk about all the time. Sometimes you support a system that is too purely anti-democracy, and you support that.
No, that's not true.
You realize that something terrible went wrong in Juba under the leadership of Salva Kiir. So this is what we have been talking about all the time. So those who do have a knowledge and experience to represent the country, to establish a good South Sudan, Salva Kiir cannot appoint those people. Salva Kiir is, like I said earlier, being surrounded by looters, those who are just looking for money. I expect more money and then do nothing in terms of job, the nature of the work. People are playing dominoes in Juba. This is the government. And then think about that. Those who work under Salva Kiir included. Do you think they embed their own money inside South Sudan? I don't think so. Where is education? Where is the minister of bridge and road in South Sudan?
All right, let me interject.
Anyway, and let me stop here. So now we'll wait.
Yes, thank you very much. Let's try to stick to the topic under discussion, and then not try to bring in other issues. Maybe you can debate them one by one as per the topic. So let me make my position very clear once again. What I just said here is that South Sudan is structurally the model of the federal system. Nevertheless, it required a constitutional amendment to make it a practical federal system. That is according to my own personal understanding, how the government of South Sudan is currently structured in the way that it looks like a federal system. How does it look like a federal system structurally? It's because we have the state and we have the national government. So in that sense, it is structurally a federal system. However, I give you a benefit of doubt as a critic and as the opposition parties that South Sudan required the constitutional amendment or the political process in order to make it a practical federalism. That's where we agree. And how do we have to do that? Is to go about the political process, which actually later on we require constitutional amendment. And in this constitutional amendment, we are actually going to go through the parliamentary or legislative process, whereby we will be able to separate the powers of the state and the powers of the federal or national government. And that is where we abuse the system. And that's why it doesn't look like a federal system as we speak. So I challenge all the critics and the opposition parties that South Sudan is already structured as a federal system. But what we need currently is the political process and constitutional amendment. So that
look, I don't know what happened. For some reason, I can't hear what you're saying.
I can hear him very well.
Oh, you can hear me?
No, I can hear you. So the other guy say that he cannot hear you. So
Yeah, Simon.
why
Simon,
don't you go
only
back?
me or everybody can hear Bill Look? But for me, I can't hear anything that Bill Look is saying. Maybe it's only me, I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear him too.
You log out and come back? Try it.
Yeah, brother, log out and come back. Yeah, I'm hearing Bill Look clearly.
Me too.
And I can hear him very well too. Simon, maybe your audio had a technical problem, maybe. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. So Simon. I think, yes.
Okay, Bill, look, let me wait.
Simon, do you hear me?
Yeah, we are hearing you.
Bill, look, let me question. Let me
add. I'm talking to Simon.
Why don't you guys rotate everything? There are two guys here who are new. Give Simon a chance. Give a coach then a chance.
Yeah, I'm trying to come to Simon now. That's why we need to confirm if he can hear us. Then we can give him the podium. Simon, can you hear us? I think he muted himself. So. Okay, he locked out. So, ladies and gentlemen, Guy Bull and Professor James and Coach Ding, I think if we allow the separation of the powers between the national government and the state government, I think this is when these intellectual people like you will be able to have that opportunity to go back to South Sudan. Then you will be able to compete freely without being appointed by the president. And the citizen of those respective states across South Sudan will be able to appoint you according to your political philosophy or ideologies. That is why we need to make sure that thing is materialized by calling for the separation of the powers. And then each one of us who can avail themselves there on the ground, you can go and compete, and your people will be able to judge you. Okay. Whether you are intellectual, whether you are not, whether you have lower education or not, that's when you will have the coach.
Give a coach, a coach thing later.
Yes. So no, Simon is coming back. Let me add Simon back so I can put him back in the same queue. Simon, confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, now I think you can read the topic by yourself, and then you can give your perspective, and then we will go from there. Who will be the next speaker? So welcome back and take the podium. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bill Look, and all the other panels. And I just want to thank also the viewers. No, I'm not really going to say a lot because right now I'm at work. I was on my break and I'm about to go back. And I just want to say a few things to you, especially you, Bill Look. I don't know if you just wake up from the sleep or what is going on with you. I don't understand. But my understanding, we have been saying this. Listen, Bill Look, listen.
You know me very well. I have been constantly advocating for federalism, but I have been constantly telling you that South Sudan is already a federal system according to the government structure. However, where I can give you benefit of doubt is the fact that South Sudan is not administratively a federal system. And how does it look like that? It is because the powers of the state and the national government are not being separated. And that's why it looks like it's not a federal system. But structurally speaking, it is already a federal system.
The reason I say that, Bill Look, because the reason why I say that, because some of us have been fighting about this in the very beginning. Even the time when there was a creation of 32 states or whatever, we have been fighting about this. We have been saying these things are wrong.
And the
government has been in control of everything. So that doesn't show any federal system in South Sudan. Federal system is when there is a separation of the power from the state and the federal. The separation of the power from the state and the counties. But now there's nothing. So everything is controlled by one person. This is not even multi-party country. All the other parties, they don't have right. They don't have a voice. So it's only one party controlled country. One party, which is the SPLM, is the only party that's in charge of the country. And they want everything to go the way they want. They don't want anybody to do anything but only them. The problem also that the parliament give too much power to the president, and that's what mess up the country. The president control everything, and he think he's in charge of every single level of government. And even the judiciary cannot do anything because the president think it's over them. So, like, for example, in this country, look, we have been here for many years. You know how the system works, the three branches of the government. That actually put a check and balance on the government. But where there's no check and balance, everything messed up. In South Sudan, there's no check or balance of power. You know? So, actually, for me, I don't see any structure that show that we are federally structured, but it's not functioning. No, it's not there yet. Until we actually come to the really structure where we can extract it from the top to the bottom. And then everybody will start doing their duties. And where the state start electing the member of the parliament, where the state will start electing their governors, that's when we see that there will be changes. But as long this country is going the way it is, as long Kir remain in power, there will be no changes in South Sudan. So for me, there's a long way to go. And if some of you guys might have read the documents of that discussion of Rome, okay, if you guys read that discussion, those papers, actually, if most of these things are implemented in South Sudan, that's when we'll call it democratic system, we will call it a federal system, and we will see a changes in the country. But some of these people, they don't want to see that. They don't want that. Like, especially like where they say anybody that is charged with the crime or anybody that is sanctioned will not hold the public office. Do you think those people will like that? They already knew they are corrupted. They have looted the country enough, but they want to continue to remain in power. They don't want to be prevented from holding the public office. But here in the United States,
with the briefcase parties.
Here in the United States, any people that are corrupted, they are not holding public offices. Some of them, they are even put behind bars so that they can learn lesson. And that's how it should be. And the establishment of the court that will bring everybody that commit crime to be judged. And if you are found guilty, then you pay the price. If not, then you are set free. The government don't want that kind of system to be set up. And how are we supposed to move forward if the right things are not set in place? So those are some of the things need actually to be put in place, because those atrocities that were committed in 2013, the 20,000 or more of the Nuer that were killed in 2013, the people that were killing Bor, the people that are killing Malakal, the people that were killing Juba, those who commit those crimes, how to be held accountable for those crimes. And that's when we'll know that our countries move to the right direction. But if those people are not held accountable, if these root causes of all this nonsense that happening in South Sudan is not defined, then we cannot. It's still after some years, we can sign any fake agreement. After some years, we will plug ourselves again in another war. And that's why, if some of you guys have seen, Mubiur Gereng have resigned. He planning to resign from his post because he said it doesn't make any sense. The peace that people are saying they are implementing in Juba is not working. So there's no need for him to be there, and then he's not serving the interests of the people. He's not serving his people. But he's going to remain as a member of the party, but he's not going to remain in that office because the office doesn't have function. And I agree 100%, I agree with the Mubiur Gereng, because no need for you to have a title and you're not functioning. Title is not the big thing. The big thing is you are there doing what the people want. You are there serving your people. You are there providing the service to the people. But if you are not providing the service to the people, you are there just holding the title. It makes no sense. Now, like for example, people like all those 5 vice presidents, what are their functions? What are they really producing? Nothing. Just their title first vice president, whatever vice president, all those 5, they are not having any function.
Simon, I think you are veering off the topic. Let's confine this topic to the federalism. Let's be specific, but when we recycle ourselves, I will be able to give you time to be able to
look. This is part of the problem. Federal system doesn't have 5 vice presidents. Okay, if we really want the federal system, those are some of the things that are messing up the country, and we have to speak about them. In order for this federal system to be implemented, those 5 vice president positions have to be dissolved. We only need 1 vice president. All the rest is a waste of money. It's a waste of the resources. Let them hold other ministry position. Put them as minister of whatever. Put them there. Let them be a minister. But vice president should be only 1.
Can I respond to a few points to Simon? Can I respond?
No. Let's go in that order, and then I will come and recycle you guys after each and everyone have an opinion.
No, let him respond if he has something quick. If he has interjection, let him respond, and I will, because I'm almost done.
You will be recycling yourself too. You will be able to respond to him back, and then that's how we waste time, is it? Anyway, go ahead, James.
Okay,
James,
so
a little bit.
Okay,
1 minute, please. So I can go to a coaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be long. Thank you, Simon, for all your points. And this is an argument I've heard over and over again since 2013. For your information, what is keeping Salva Kiir in power until this time is not Salva Kiir himself. It is the rebellion that is spread all over in South Sudan. If we actually stayed in town instead of picking arms and go out there and try to fight the people of South Sudan, we would have gone for election. And the people of South Sudan unite and actually campaign vigorously to remove him, he will be gone. All right? So that we can bring somebody else and try someone else. But when people went to war, and let me give you an example of President al-Bashir in Sudan. Bashir actually held power for the last 30 years simply because of South Sudan's war against the Sudan. Because you know what? He made the people of Sudan to believe that the problem was actually the war in South Sudan. And the only one who could solve that problem was Bashir. When the war between Sudan and South Sudan stopped, you know what happened? It only took women, girls and boys. They went to the street of Khartoum and yelled, down Bashir. And Bashir was gone. They were not armed. Okay? That is the power of peace. So if we all lay down arms in South Sudan and come back to Juba and actually integrate ourselves and unite ourselves as citizens of South Sudan peacefully, Salva Kiir will be gone overnight. I'm telling you. Okay? Salva Kiir is in charge because all the Dinka population is incited because they are being killed on the roads between Nimili and Juba, between Ye and Juba. They are being killed everywhere in the cities. So what they have done, they have said, okay, so they're all united and they are protecting these men here, right? So Salva Kiir, you need to expect these men to be in charge of South Sudan, whether you want or not, for a very long time. Whether South Sudan remain in chaos or not, because all these people, a lot of these people are united behind him because they are afraid to go out there. They are afraid, they are scared. But if we want to unite as citizens and come to town, unite, stop the war, lay down all the guns, and we go for elections as South Sudanese, we will actually see new problems rather than the war. But we are now focused on the war. That is the problem. I'm not saying.
Okay, so I think your 1 minute is over.
Well,
I don't.
Bill, look.
I want unity. I want us to unite
a minute or two
of South Sudan so that we can bring change. That's my response.
James Babu, your turn. But I want to respond to that.
Let me just conclude this. let me just conclude this below. Look, what the young man just said is this. Actually, the problem that keep Kir in power is not the rebellion. The rebellion is not the reason why Salva Kiir is in power. The reason why Salva Kiir is in power simple is because he continued to cause chaos in order to stay in power. I remember, if you guys listen carefully, there was a speech of John Garang de Mobile before he died. He said, there are people, I hope in South Sudan, people should not be like other people that use tribe to fight against tribe to stay in power. If you guys listen to that word of John Garang, exactly that's what Salva Kiir is doing today. Salva Kiir is using the weak dingas to fight against other people in order to stay in power. It's not all the dinga that are with the Kiir. There are a lot of the dinga, they are not even with the Kiir. Because of what Kiir is doing is not even benefiting dinga. The people that are benefiting from Kiir is the J Council of Elders. And they're recruiting people that those people are sacrificing for them, and those people are not benefiting. They are the one benefiting. Ordinary soldiers that, like, for example, those of Matianganyor, Dolko Beng, and all those people that were brought from Barghazal, come and die in Juba in 2013, 2016. Is their parent get any benefit after it? Nothing. Those people sacrificed themselves because Salva Kiir want to retain his seat. He want to continue to be in power for life. He don't want anybody to take him out of that power. So it's not actually about the rebellion. And when people, actually, when you see carefully, those leaders, they don't want election. They don't want any election to happen because they know if there's election, they're going to be voted out. So they continue to create chaos in order for them to stay in that power. So it's not about the rebellion, but it is about how Salva Kiir continue to generate problems in order for him to continue to be in that position.
Simon, thank you. Thank you. I think we are actually getting off the topic. I thought we should be actually focusing on the topic of federalism. So please let me go to the next speakers, and then we have to come and recycle ourselves. That's when you guys will be able to have other point of of clarification.
Look, before you go to the next person, can I just add some point so that, because I need to respond to my brother James Mayik.
But we are making other guest board. So let's hear from them. Then you will be the first to jump in.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Coach, please, are you there? Banya Coach, are you there? If you are available, is your chance so that I can give Dr. Dolarjin the chance, or if you want Dolarjin to jump in.
No, I am here. I am here.
Okay,
are you hearing me?
Go ahead. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I am in a dark place. Thank you, Bill Look, and thank you for your audience, those who are in the show. Actually, this is a very good topic. I had some. I listened to some folks before, and their contribution too. Yeah, Bill Look, this topic. I did talk about it in Dinka a lot. Sometime, we the people here in diaspora, all of us, we are not aware with the federal system, even the democracy we are in America and Canada. I see some people when they go and talk about South Sudan, it looked to me they are a citizen and maybe they don't know how to vote, how they don't know the process. South Sudan, it's like the house. When you want to build a house, you plan first, you see the ground, and then you bring the wood, to make the house strong. So South Sudan, before independence, those SPLM, they sit down and they lay out the way.
Speaking, Benjamin Uncle? Benjamin. Are you Benjamin? I'm just asking. All right.
No, I'm a Deng.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Continue,
I'm a Deng, that's why. So, Bill, look, why I'm saying this, I think a lot of our brothers, they are missing the point. They are missing the point of South Sudan from the beginning. If people are following, even before the signing peace agreement, if people were following the SPLM manifesto and what they are fighting for, all these video of John Garang, people should understand very well. And John Garang said it, you know, this guy was well prepared. He said in Abiy, in Dinka language, and I think majority of people are there and they know this video. He says, you know, if somebody put a light in his house, you know, when you have a cups and all this, and then, you know, you bring the guest and tell him to leave, he will broke all these carpets because he don't know. But if you tell the owner of the house, you let the light, you turn the light off, and you tell the owner of the house to find his way, he will go out without breaking the carpet. Why? He said that those who are in outside the country, after we sign the peace, they will come and they will say, hey, move guys, now you did everything and peace is here, let her do it. We will not give them the chance, you know. And this one is a very popular video. Everybody, I think, know about this. So why I'm saying this, South Sudan was instructed with a federal system, 3 government, federal, federal and municipal and municipal and United provincial.
Yeah, you're talking about municipality.
Yes,
yeah.
It's a federal and you know, and municipal. And federal. There are 3 levels. That is why, you know, Kir used to appoint the ministers, you know, the governor, and the governor, they go and appoint the commissioners, you know. And why I'm saying the majority of people are missing the point. Yeah, Jama, we did not get a time to settle down as a South Sudanese, as a country, independent, you know, and give like 3 years, 2 years until the Kir will release the appointment will go, and then we go and elected the governor and the commissioner. There were no time. And why it was set up these people to be appointed? Because people were afraid of a Bashir government. That is why SPLM said it like that. But couple of, you know, 2 years, 3 years, they can change the law. They can vote again in parliament, and they can change all these things. And then appointment must stop. But I am wondering for our brother, those who are, you know, saying that there is no why Kir appointed people, why he did stop. But did we give a chance to debate this in parliament and then, you know, peacefully? So what I am saying, I know people understand what I am trying to say, but shortcut, it make our country now to be messed. This is all about shortcut, you know. People want to take a shortcut to overthrow Kir government, but it will not work. And country were looted when Salva Kiir in Juba, in Khartoum, as a vice president of Bashir. That is where, you know, South Sudan get away from these SPLM politicians. But what can you do? Can Kir come and kick them out before a referendum? No. He will keep them, you know, and just doing it smoothly. And the target was to get independent. After independent, then people will sit down and see who make wrong, what happened, and you know, that is those are the way, you know, we can run a South Sudan. But even some people, they were in a bush and they are not agree with South Sudan to be independent, and they come here and talk now, girl, country South Sudan is not a country. Why Kir appoint the governor? How can the system work, Jama? My first of all, give a chance, and then every county has a representative. Those people, they are not stupid. They can debate it and they can talk with Kir, and you know, an appointment must stop in 2 years, in 3 years. But when you go, you know, we got independent in 1 year, and then Kir must go. Namea walai begin. Walai. Do you guys listen to Bull Brown? If you listen to Bull Brown, all the secret against the Kir, it came out from even new intellectual. I can put that. You know, all the secret against Kir, it come out already. So the country was messed even before it get independent. So that's my point. I can put it there. But if we give a chance, to conclude it, if we give Kir a chance, Kir cannot stay in that power for more than 10 years. I don't think so. Because the structure was so nice, you know. Kullu wilaya, they have their own representative, you know, 3 level of government, even though they are corrupted well. Bashir, you know, Bashir, how many years he eat South Sudan things and things didn't finish, you know. They did not finish the poor, they did not finish the animal, they did not finish but why people are so hungry with the power in only 2 years or 3 years? People should give at least a time and move Kir by a logical political, you know. So now we should be in peace, but people are angry with power. So for me, I blame all those who are, you know, those who are saying they are against the government. They are the one who built this one, and they want South Sudan to be like that. Lanu galu khali asfela mijip inaida barra, ubade niji nishilu menu, you know. Exactly, John Garang predicted it, you know. And thank you so much, guys. I will watch around and then maybe I will come back again.
Bill, look, let me just make one point of correction.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hold on. Thank you very much, Coach. I want to jump to $Argent without wasting time. Then I will actually enable you to cycle because we have so many guests. Right
okay.
now. Yeah. Welcome, Madid Majak. $Argent, please jump in. I don't want to waste time. Otherwise, the coach here is spoken.
Okay.
Well.
Okay. Well, thank you, Madid. And then I mean Billy Luke and Gaibol and James Mayik. There is Simon Abui, coach, and my brother Madid. You know, I want to greet the audience. My name is $Argent, leader of the UPLS Union Party of South Sudan. You know, I wanted to say something. You know, I heard. I think when I come, I heard Abui was talking, Simon Abui. I heard Jim Mayik was trying to talk, and this guy here, you know. Sometimes, you know, we South Sudanese, you know, we come to America, we go to Australia, to Canada, Western world, you know. And if we have interest in politics, please don't be like somebody who don't have opportunity, like those one who are at home. You need to actually to understand the system of government, so that at least when intellectuals are arguing about the system of government, then you can actually contribute to what we are discussing. Okay, so most of you don't know the system of Western world that you are in, and you actually trying to understand the system of South Sudan, which you are not even living there and you don't have even experience of that place. That is why, you know, and actually that's why actually I come in. I don't even want to come in because I'm seeing a lot of people, they are misinterpreting, they lost the meaning of federalism. They don't know what government system is. So you see, you know, for people who went to school like us, you know, it's like insult actually. Because actually when I went to Iowa State, those are some of the things that I was studying. Politics, I study American politics, international politics, what they call comparative politics. And one of the topic is about this system of government is a topic in university. So you need to understand that there are 3 systems of government in the world. There is no any other thing. If you work out of these 3, then that means you have your own system, like what is happening in South Sudan right now. Okay, we have a central system of government. Central system mean power in the central government. We have a federal system, which means 50-50. Okay, some power is given to the state, and other power remain in the central government. And then the confederate system. Those are the only 3 governments that exist right now in the world. We don't have any other government. Now in South Sudan, if we are talking of South Sudan is not a federal system government. You don't get it. South Sudan is what we call a tribal system, which has never been tried in the world. And that's why we are actually missing the point. Okay, if you look at this, the way the country is organized, actually look at the state. Okay, in a tribal system, we have a 50 power given to the tribe that ally to the sitting president in the central government. And most of the 50% of the power is in the central government. So now Juba, if you don't know how Juba has, Kir alone has 50% of the power in South Sudan. The other 50% of power is given to the tribe that are allied to him. And that power goes to the elite. And you don't know how they distributed it, my friend. You have to live by experience in South Sudan. For example, you know, if you are in a will, let's say in a will, okay, like those of where General Malungawan come from, you know, Malungawan can get almost 10% of South Sudanese power of government in a will, because is a very strong ally to Salva Kiir. And then if you go to Unity State get 20% of the power from South Sudan government, because it's one of the strong ally to the central government. So you know, you don't understand, and this power, it go to the tribe in the state. That's why there are some states that don't really have power, even if the governor is the same power with another governor, but you find them, they are really very weak. They don't have money, they don't have anything, they don't. But you find some state, a governor is very powerful, such that they can even overthrow South Sudan government. Like, for example, in Unity State, government Wen is more strong than another governor in South Sudan. Why? Is because he has 20% of the South Sudan power. So he can fight, he has his own militia and troop, so you can order them to fight a war, actually. So this thing, you know, you don't understand them, my brother. You really don't understand South Sudan. And that's why we will get messed up and we will never understand it. So now you talking about federalism. America is one of the example of federal system. America don't have tribe, okay? The states are not organized in tribal system. They don't have a county in America that is at only a certain clan. Never, you cannot find it in America. But in South Sudan, you will find, like in my county now in Rupconnect, we don't have any other, we are not mixed. It is only my clan, live about even tribe, is not all the Nuer. So that kind of system is called tribal system, okay? And the system they practice is called tribalism, because the way the country is organized, okay? So tribalism is the way how power is distributed into the state, okay? That is what you need to understand. Federalism is the way federalism works. We all understand that, okay? Federalism means power is actually 50% power is given to the state, 50% power is in the federal government. That is the concept of federalism in America, or even some of the states that practice federalism. You know, there are some, somebody was trying to, I don't know. That's the problem, is people are trying to disturb me, man. So what I'm saying here, Billy, look, is that, you know, in federalism, the sharing of power is to the state, and those states, they can actually extend their power by electing their people. That means there is a parliament in charge to actually make the law, and which we don't have in South Sudan. So South Sudan is totally different. Don't call it South Sudan actually is not a central system, is not a federal system, and is not a confederate. I think confederate will be what is the Soma is asking right now, like those of those of Thomas Chirilo are asking now what we call a confederate. And confederate system is only European that practice it in the world right now. It never exists. It was in America, yes, before, but right now only UK practice confederate system. In the whole African country, they don't have it. Most of the African country right now are either federal or maybe central government.
And that's not a good model.
Yes?
It's not a good model, because that's another political strategy to call for the separation of the region, which is not going to be acceptable.
Right, correct.
Let's accept the federalism, and all of us agree federalism is the best system we can govern ourselves. And it's structurally speaking, now look, South Sudan government right now.
Billy, look here. Our country right now, if we have to judge, of which system is a good for South Sudan right now, central government is the best system in our country. Why I say this is because, you know, we are tribe. And if we wanted to move out from this tribe, we have to go slowly. Okay? Let me tell you one story.
Well, central government.
Look, central government system is the best.
That's the way Salva Kiir Mayardit is ruling the country currently.
Let me tell you. No. It's not the one. Salva now is not ruling the country using central government. It's actually a tribal system. So let me explain.
Centralization now. We are now governed under the centralization.
No. It's not central government now. Central government, the way it works. You know, central government. Let me tell you our central government. There are countries like Kenya is a central government. A lot of countries in Africa actually they are using central government. The way central government work is parliament. The parliament in the center has more power. Okay.
No, so you're talking about the parliamentary system, and that is what appeared to be introduced by these briefcase parties in Rome.
No, that's not the one.
The parliamentary system, whereby they call for the presidency and the prime ministership.
No, it's not prime. I'm talking of a central government where there is a president and there is a parliament and there is actually three type of government, but the system is central. A central government, you know, sometimes they confuse you, this system of government. The way, if you want to understand them, I want you to use the power, how you distribute power. So in central government, 90% of the power out of 100 is in the center. That is it, make it different, okay? Only 10% is given maybe to other state or to the people. So Salva Kiir now is not doing that. If Salva Kiir doing now is controlling the 90% of the power, South Sudan will even be, it will be like Uganda. For example, Uganda is a central government. You see the way how Museveni is ruling Uganda and Kenya, maybe Tanzania. A lot of countries now in Africa, they are actually, except Ethiopia. Ethiopia is kind of like a federal, sometimes it can be a confederate.
Ethnic government.
Ethnic government, yeah. Actually, the way I look at it is like confederate system. The way is structured in Ethiopia. But now in our country, we need central power, big power in center, so that at least it unite all those tribes, so that we don't have sense of tribalism, you know. Yeah. But if we look at the federal government now, the federal system, my brother, we are going to have a problem, because in federal system, the power is given out to those tribes. Actually, 50%, every state will say, oh, I'm strong, I have militia, and I can attack any tribe that I don't like. So it's not good for us, my brother, you guys.
No, don't argue. Let me interject there. No state is going to be allowed to have their own army. All the armed forces are going to be under the federal government or under
that is not a federal government. That is not a federal system. If you want a federal system, you have to allow some power, a state to have their own militia.
That is the system which we are in right now.
Look here, Billy, look here, my brother. Like here in America, what if you live in any state, they have their own guard. They have their own guard. Those are what we call military guard. They are their own state. So if the state has anything, those guards, they are available. They are troops. They can order them to go anywhere.
Just for emergency. For emergency.
For emergency. Has made his point. Let other people jump in. Thank you.
So the other thing, I wanted
a strong point.
You know, there was a problem of James Magog. Magog, you say Kiir is in power because of rebellion. That is not true. Actually, Kiir is in power because actually Kiir is still in power.
In any
where did you say that?
No. He say Kiir is in power because there's a lot of rebellion in the country. James Mayik say that when he was talking. Right, James?
Well, that is true. That is true. Why?
Okay. Look here.
Are the one
look here.
And stability in our country, and that is where Salva Kiir Mayardit administration actually get an advantage. That is absolutely true. That's why.
Okay, I want to say something about that. I want to say something. Billy, look, I want to say something about
all
that.
the opposition don't understand the strategy behind that. So let's all agree that for the peace and stability, and then we enable the conduct of the fair and free election. That is how you can.
Let me say something about rebellion that keeping Kir in power. Just 1 second. You know, for me, I will say there is a lack of a strong rebellion. That is why Kir is in power. If we have a very, very strong rebellion now, that is not tribal clashes, Kir will be out. It will not even stay for 6 months. I'm telling you.
Thank you, Dr. Larkin. Can you give us a chance so that we can actually comment?
All right. Thank you, Dr. Larkin. Stand by. Let's go back in a cycle. James, before you jump in, let me give it to Guy Ball. Then you will be the next.
No, Guy Ball
go ahead.
Guy Ball is the first, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Billy Luke, James Dollarjin, and also a question. Then
I don't know why Dollarjin ran away. It's going to come back.
A coach then thank you. So and then those who are watching, I think this is a good discussion. I know in politics sometimes some people they take a left turn to make it this is like a permanent enemy issue, while in fact we are doing politics here, even though back home our people are killing themselves. It's all about political confusion, lack of governance in our country. So let us not forget that. Like I said earlier, and all the time in Nuercho, what we are facing now in South Sudan is that we just came from tribal communities. We never had a government in the first place. We are under Sudan rule. In South Sudan, we have there is no development. All right, we live now instead of nature. Look at our building. So when we walk away with South Sudan, we should be able to structure our own way of how to govern ourselves. Sadly, it failed under the leadership of South Africa. So to the point, Billy Luke, I spoke earlier, and also I want to have some point that I can respond. I mean, some point that I can respond to my brother, Deng Atwai, and also my brother James Mayik. This is a good intellectual debate. I think we cannot change our country or ourselves without telling the truth. Truth is the meaning of change. The definition of change is to tell the truth. That's how we can get there. In our country, in any tribe, there is good people out there. There is bad people out there at the same time. There is no perfect tribe that can pat themselves. Oh, we are the best. No, we all human beings. We have up and down. All right, and that's why it makes it difficult for us to understand the nationalistic view. Sometimes 90% I can assume we take tribalistic view, not nationalistic view. That's what destroy this country. The point I try to respond is that to my brother Akech and brother James Mayik. I think I don't know if it's James Mayik or so. A country being loot while Salva Kiir was in Khartoum. I think this is James. I think from James Mayik. Country being loot while Salva Kiir is in Khartoum during independence. So it means that the looting is start during referendum period. Salva Kiir is still in Khartoum, and so cannot be blamed for South Sudan corruption. Okay, that's what I think. It come from you, James.
No. Guy Bull, you are misquoting me. I think you had that from somewhere else. Nobody talked about that.
Sorry, not you.
Yeah, not me.
From Akech. Sorry, not you. Sorry, Akech. I think even though Salva Kiir is still a South Sudan president, Southern Sudan president at the time, and the vice president of Sudan is still a president of South Sudan. Being in Khartoum, it doesn't mean that he has no power. If there is a corruption in South Sudan, Salva Kiir is responsible because he can never spend 1 month in Khartoum without going back to South Sudan, Juba. All right, I think he went there weekday or weekend. We knew that. So Salva Kiir is responsible for South Sudan corruption before this country, our country, South Sudan, independent. All right. If Salva Kiir cannot be accused for corruption during a referendum period, so if he loot money because he's a part of the looting system, do you think we cannot blame him? He cannot blame himself. He can blame Riek Machar why I loot money, and he's the president of South Sudan. He loot money, and then he can blame it on Riek Machar, the president of South Sudan at the time. Well, I'm just talking. I'm just talking. I want to make an argument here. If that is the case, it means that if Salva Kiir loot money before independence of South Sudan, he cannot blame himself, or we cannot blame himself. We can blame Riek Machar, the first vice president of South Sudan, the guy who running South Sudan. This argument, it doesn't make any sense to me personally. All right, if you loot money because you are not inside South Sudan, you cannot be blamed. We can blame only the person who is responsible for South Sudan affair, which is the Vice President Dr. Machar. So this argument, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I will move on because I know a lot of people are watching. I try to respond to our brother who speak earlier. Point number 2, Dinka are supporting Kir because they were being killed on the road. Hold on. Dinka are supporting Kir because they were being killed on the road. I think particularly in Equatorial region, because James Abui speak earlier. I believe James, this is your point. This is what you just said. I believe that was you. Dinka supporting Salva Kiir because they were killed on the road. What about, if I can ask, before being killed on the road in the Equatorial region, after the event of 2013, where are the Dinka? Did they join the rebellion, or they still supporting Salva Kiir? So before being killed on the road in Equatorial region, so where were Dinka at the time before being killed? Did they support Salva Kiir or they joined rebellion? That's just a question I can ask you. Write it down and respond it to me. Next, if you will be given a chance to speak. So, if Dinka being killed on the road in the Equatorial region, don't you understand that there is a reason why Dinka being killed on the road in the Equatorial region? You knew that very well. Most Equatorian intellectuals have been killed indirectly and directly by Salva Kiir system. Think about Peter Sule, and you name them, and this is what make them to be angry toward particular tribe, Dinka. That's why, because if you don't have power, there's a lot of way to make to do something. You can kill people on the road because that's how you kill people, because you have no power, because you cannot go directly to your enemy, because that person, that particular system, there has a lot of power. You should go indirectly and kill. And I think, to me, I can assume that's the reason why they are being killed on the road of Equatoria, because their politician, maybe their land, their crops being destroyed. Hopefully, assumingly, they aim their anger toward particular tribe, the Dinka, and that's why only Dinka being killed on the road in Equatorial region, and that's the reason why Dinka being killed. So that's what I can respond to you, my brother. So point number 3, no patience for them. No patience, like politician, Dr. Machar, those who are just, December 6th conference 2013, before the event of 2013, you can see a political process as a new start. after independence, after the end of the war, during the referendum, after independence for sure. It is the political process. We are no longer in rebellion mindset. In any country, freedom of expression, to be a politician, you need to group yourself. If the system under the particular leadership is not working, you should demand a protest, a freedom of expression, a concern for the country. And that's what is lead Dr. Machar and the rest to organize on December 6, 2013. And this, why should we wait to give Salva Kiir a chance? For how long? Salva Kiir being power. So can we wait Salva Kiir not to be criticized? How long are we going to wait for him? He knew it. Either fighter, a freedom fighter like the rest of the SPLM Politburo. He knew the reason he joined the rebellion because he's fighting for democracy and freedom of expression. So how soon are we going to wait for Salva Kiir? He's been in power for how long? Many years. How long are we going to wait for Salva Kiir? 100 years? 30 years? In politics, you cannot give no room for your opponent.
Nine bullets is good to make it short so that we can respond.
I'm coming to the end. The notion that there's no has no patience. It doesn't make any sense. There's no point to understand. There's no good argument so that people can understand, can be certified. You can this is illogical reasoning. It doesn't make any sense. In politics, you cannot wait. You are part of that country. You are part of this particular political party. You have right to reject anything, whether from the leadership or from political party itself. So the notion that Yemasha has, have not been given time, people have no patience. I think this is just a political scapegoating. People, they are lacking. People are not willing to admit their failure or the abuse mistake, what destroying our country. So this kind of reasoning, the notion that Yemasha have no patience, or the rest of South Sudan, they have no patience. We don't want to wait for Salva Kiir to tell us, or to wait at the last minute when things are coming to the state of unsolvable problem. So in politics, we don't wait for your opponent to tell you, okay, you come in and then do your job. So the notion that Yemasha has no patience, or the rest of South Sudanese politicians, they have no patience, they never give Salva Kiir a chance. We have given Salva Kiir a chance. Think about the death of Dr. John Garang during the referendum period and after independence. How many years? A lot of time, months and years and weeks. So Salva Kiir has a lot of time. The reason that why Salva Kiir cannot change the country, Salva Kiir is a dictator. Think about presidential degree on South Sudan television. Naming all the, calling all the name from the state governor, county commissioner, to the federal level, to any just presidential degree. This kind of system is a dictatorship. Salva Kiir is a dictator. If you are supporting Salva Kiir, you are leaning toward dictatorship tendency, and this thing can never change this country. If we are rebel, we join the army before Sudan independence. We are demanding to transform Sudan, if not the entire country. We walk away with South Sudan. We can make South Sudan a democracy system country, so that our opponent in the north, they can enjoy their life in South Sudan. And this is the demand of Dr. Machar and those who are calling for change before this war. And lastly, the event of 2013 was not caused by Dr. Machar. Why I say that? There is no reason, there is no evidence that you can provide. It was Salva Kiir's own coup against himself, because Dr. Machar never and did not create a coup on that day, on that kind of year, 2013. There is no evidence. You know that Dr. Machar from Nuer. If you are Nuer neighbor, you know Nuer are direct tribe. We never go indirectly. We can do something in broad daylight without eye. That is indisputable too. So the event of 2013, you were celebrating his own war. He created the coup. Why? To get rid of the problem. Because it doesn't like the change. That's why he created the coup. He can gain back his Dinka community and those who can never join Bush life. And that's why he created his own coup. If I'm not wrong, tell me where are the evidence of the coup being created by Dr. Machar?
Guy was talking too much actually make the show
Anyway,
really boring.
I'm done. I'm done. This is my conclusion. So I believe, I know, I go outside because the previous speaker, they went outside the topic to tell you the truth, Mr. Moderator, Bidalu. So this country, South Sudan, it belongs to all of us. Last word, to bring a change, back to your topic, we can never demand democracy under the leadership of a dictator. In order to look for change in our country, to looking for democracy in South Sudan, federalism, we have to let go of self-care before we demand for democracy transformation in South Sudan. Because South Sudan being led by a dictator, there is no way in any government in the world where you can convince a dictator to come to the democracy transformation. It means that dictator will put himself in jail or in prison. So we are wasting time. If we are looking for democracy transformation in South Sudan, let us join to remove self-care militarily, or if there is any peaceful way. If there is anything, we can change South Sudan. So if we talk about demanding for democracy under the leadership of self-care, we are wasting time. Thank you, Bill. I'm sorry because I think I took long.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gaibo. James, you can jump in, then I can go to our coach to conclude it. Then we can call it the end of the day.
One thing I want to say before I jump in, Thread, is
it is your turn. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but you need to control the meeting a little bit more.
I understand. Yeah, but people don't people don't try to follow the rule. Yeah, I will next time. Go ahead, James. Sorry, you get muted.
Let me jump in. There are some things, I'm not going to be long. There are some things
you were muted. Go ahead, sorry. Yeah.
You know, the reason why I hung around for a while and tolerate people like Gaibo is because these are the type of people who are destroying our country. You got to be honest, all right? We have to be honest. And the reason why they're destroying the country is because they talk too much, because they think they're right all the time. They don't believe that there's somebody somewhere who can tell them what to do. Gaibo, I'm not a politician, and everybody who's watching, I'm a teacher. I'm a school teacher. And by the way, for your information, my profile picture that you see there, I was standing in Rang teacher training college in 2013, training teachers, and I was working with
in South Sudan.
Yeah, I was working with a minister, another minister called. I'm told he passed away. His name is Daniel Warjob. Daniel Warjob. When I ran this program, that you see me standing with the teachers, most of those teachers are from Northern Sudan, because when South Sudan separated, we had a lot of these people in Rang who were from Northern Sudan, and they were teachers, very good teachers, wonderful teachers. Daniel Warija wanted to fire them and replace them with South Sudanese who did not exist. All right. What I want to say, let me go back to the idea of federalism. And I totally agree with Dr. Largin. Dr. Largin, man, I see you around, and sometimes I feel like you're just another tribal Nuer guy who is coming to argue too much. Thank you, my brother. You are very well educated, and I did not know you were like that. Maybe I actually need to find out who you are. You have very great ideas, progressive ideas. Here's what I want to say. Guy Bull, the picture you see on my profile, I was training teachers in Great Upper Nile. I went to a youth in 2013, January. What I saw in a youth was shocking. Okay? There was only one metal that was there was my car and a school. I don't know who built it. The girls' school. And inside the school, the girls were sitting on a mat that was, raised a little bit. It was very bad. What I did was I went there to train teachers. So what I did, I actually rented a bar and I, stuck my papers on the wall and I made them a projector, a screen, and I trained the teachers right there. I love a youth. I love the people at youth. They're great people. The problem they have is 99% of the youth have never had any access to literacy because you know what? During the war, they were landlocked. A lot of them could not access Ethiopia. A lot of them could not go to Uganda. A lot of them could not go to Kenya because they are in the center of the city. And during the rebellion, during the division of the movement, most of these people did not go anywhere. In the evening, I would sit under a tree and watch the young people coming out. Most of them are naked. Most of them are carrying spears. And all the metal you see sometimes is a gun. But you know what? These people accepted peace. That is what I loved about them. I actually went with the car outside the village. And I could imagine myself building a nice school there in that youth village for the people of Gawe and put all these young people to school so that they can be educated and be like Guy Bull, so that they can make their money. Because I know Guy Bull cannot even pick up a gun to go and fight. He will not. He can give guns to these boys and ask them to go and fight. Okay? This is always my argument. If you educate the people like Guy Bull will not recruit anybody because these kids will actually tell him, what are we going to get out of it? Okay? Pay us before we go to war. This is why I insist that federalism thing is not a priority. It has to wait. That's why I agree with Dr. Larigan. That central system that we have is enough for now. The priority should be building of primary schools and put all the boys, the girls, put them to good schools so that they can read and write and actually learn how to make money instead of teaching them how to carry guns because we are actually causing a lot of problems. That's one. Two, responding to Guy Bull's tribal killing. Let me tell you one example, Guy Bull. I was sitting at one of the hotels in Nairobi in 2018. And I had all these, not 18, 2016. And I had most of these colleagues that I worked with in Bentiu. They came and sat on my table. And there was one pastor among them. One guy asked me, Yaki Tukumia Nasparian, why did you guys support the people of Baragazal? And I told him, how come you don't know? You don't know that? You don't know that? Because when the war broke out in 2013, the civilians in Bentiu, police, they started killing families from Parian.
Be specific about what support, what kind of support was it? Was it legitimate?
So what I asked them, look, the argument is like Guy Bull is making is that, oh, the Nuer were killed in Juba. And I said, okay, what actually connect the Nuer who were killed in Juba with these civilians in Bentiu? Did they actually go and kill anybody in Juba? What is their connection? What is the connection between the civilians who are moving on the road to Salva Kiir? Does Salva Kiir even know them? No.
Connection.
Are they known? Does Matiang Anyor know them? No. So, Guy Bull, this is not an intellectual argument. This is actually the tribalism that is killing South Sudan, and I don't appreciate it. Okay. During the war, I was in Juba, and you know what? I actually pulled some intellectuals from the Nuer community out of Bentiu. Because I told them, here's what I told them. Guys, look, this war, you don't know when it's going to end. And if you get stuck there in Bantu, we will need you when the war is over. Get out of there. Okay? I even encouraged some people to go to Kakum, get out of the country. Because I knew these people were resources of the country when the war is over. And surely they are right now. So Yagaibo, what we need right now as a priority is not federalism. It is unity, especially in the Greater Upper Nile. Let us unite. Let us stop tribalism. Let us stop accusing innocent people who are not even part of politics. I'm not a politician. I don't support Salva Kiir. I don't support anybody. I'm not a politician. I'm not even interested in politics. I want South Sudan to be peaceful so that I can go home and teach. That's all I want. I want to train teachers. I want to open up schools. I want to lead schools so that we can put all our young people back to the classrooms and train our teachers and send them back to the classrooms and have them teach. Okay? And the only way to get Salva Kiir out of that seat is through election. Okay, how would Dinka people join the rebellion when they are actually being killed on the street without even being asked, what party do you belong? Without even asked, who do you like? Just kill them simply because they're Dinkas. These are vulnerable civilians who are running after their lives. Okay? So, I'm not going to, I'm talking too much and I don't want to make it, I don't want to be like Gaibo talking too much, repeating one thing all over and over again, because I want to give other people a chance. Yeah, Gaibo, I watch your show a lot and I want you to change that. Let us not be tribalism. Because you know what? When we live here, we represent our communities. We represent South Sudan. Let us change. Let us teach our people. Let us teach the Nuer in the village, the Dinka in the village, that the Nuer are not your problem. The Dinkas are not your problem. Your problem is Salva Kiir and Riek Machar in Juba. The problem is not this Mandi and village. It's not this Dul and village. No, they're not the problem. They're being used. Okay? Let us not give them guns because most of the boys who pick up arms, whether they are Matianganyor or they are White Army, 90% of them are dead, for your information. Only to find that Salva Kiir and Riek Machar are back in Juba and they're getting together right now. That's a big damage. They died for no reason. All right? They died for no reason. What did they get out of it? Nothing. All right? I don't want to talk too much, Billy Luke. Sorry. I'm done. That's all I got.
Well, thank you very much, Professor James Mayik or James Diok Mayik. Thank you for your wonderful response. That was just a preliminary rebuttal to the argument of Gaibo. I know Gaibo in and out, so I don't even want to waste time responding to their respective perspective. So I will let him respond to you. So stand by and don't go away. Let me give this opportunity. So the podium is back to you, Akoide. Banyakoch, if you are there, you can take over the podium.
Yeah, I am here.
Jamin,
your
conclusion, here. Then I will go back to Gaibo. Then I will see if James will have something to comment. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, are you hearing me well?
Yeah, we do. You are very clear.
Okay, thank you one more time again. You know, guys, you three of you, I greet you back again. For me, I supposed to sleep right now, but you know, the topic was even you know, I cannot sometime understand some others people like my brother Gaibol when he went back and bring 2013 asking her that why Dinka did not support Nuer. You know, I am here in Canada with a lot of Nuer friends. A lot of them. I came from Fenyadu, and that is where I learned how to speak Nuer. You know, Brother Gaibol, I do watch your show a lot since you begin, and now it's back to Chip Brown Bull. I follow him a lot, and then you know, plus other Nuer. Why I do that? Because I am from Upper Nile and we are mixed. You know, if you go to Malacan town, you have to know Shuluk and you have to know Nuer. And if you don't know Dinka Gaibol, it's up to you. You should learn Dinka and learn Shuluk too. And we have a border with you. I'm with Gajak. I am from Adar. You know, so we have a border with Gajak and with Maban. So I do understand a lot. To come to the topic, and then I will not be long. Gaibol, do you know why majority of Dinka, they are not supporting Riek Machar? You should know. You should know perfectly why. In 2013, if Dr. Riek Machar, you know, direct his White Army, including you as a chairman of White Army, don't kill, you know, innocent Dinka in Balier and in Malacan, those who even don't know Kir Mayadit. Do you think Kir Mayadit will be in power up to now? No, I don't think so. A majority of Dinka will join because some of them even they don't know Kir, you know. But because of the political blindness, with the sadness with our brother Nuer, with the great word one thing, and I don't think now it will be there, because a lot of Nuer now are changing from one thing. You know, they have to understand first before you go and kill someone. You know, if there were no one thing and kill innocent in Baliet and go to Malakal and go to, you know, to Malut and around Palut, you know, we will not talk about Kir Mayadit now. Kir Mayadit could be gone, you know, by you know, another chance. And not Bali alone, even in, like my brother mentioned it, in Ruang State, they go and kill innocent people there. So, brothers, you should understand the point. That is why majority of Dinka, they are not joining Riek Machar, because he has no principle, he has no agenda, he has no clear vision. We don't know what he's fighting for. That is why. Otherwise, there is no wrong with him to join him. We can, those who join Riek Machar, those who want rank, they want a power. Like you see Dr. Dio Motok now, where is him now? And when Garang Nyandeng is standing there by himself, because this guy is confused too, you know. So that is a little thing I can add. Look, and thank you so much, and guys, have a great night. But I do like Gaibol, because Gaibol sometimes it look like he don't know what he want for South Sudan. Because if you keep insisting, fight with me, fight, how many times, guys, people can fight and nothing can come out? It's better to try another thing peacefully, demonstration. Be a peaceful man, no more gun anymore. We can join you, Gaibol. But if you come here, fight with me, bring the gun, and you are here in North America, how can you know, Riek Machar fell, he didn't give a gun to the White Army. So how can you get a gun? You know? So I will stop there and I will see you again. Have a good night, guys. I will listen to you, whatever you have.
Yeah, I will respond for sure.
Well, don't go away. There's a chance maybe Gaibol is going to fire back at you. So stand by and let's hear from Gaibol. So let me clarify it a little bit to you, James and Coach. That Gaibol is also a strong supporter of Dr. Riek Machar. However, he go contrary against the policy of his chairman, Honorable or His Excellency Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, in the sense that he want to form a parallel, you know, armed wing, so he can go along and fight the same government, whereby Dr. Riek Machar is already a part of the national unity government. So, Gaibol, you should be able to form your own rebellion rather than following Dr. Riek Machar, because Dr. Riek Machar does not actually agree with you the way you want to take people back to war, because you believe strongly in militarism. That is your philosophy, according to what we have observed so far. So I know you in and out, so it doesn't bother us a lot, and I respect you because you are a man with a very strong temperament that you can withstand any kind of opposition or aggression against you. So I like that attitude about you, and you are always very consistent, and we respect your opinion. So please jump in and respond to James and Coach Ding, and then after that we will be able to close up the show. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll look James Mayik and also Coach Deng. Thank you very much. I think that's a good debate. Even though we came from the original topic to the subsection of the topic, is everything the same because there's no way we can focus 100% on a particular topic without adding an other thing around to the topic. To you, James Mayik, thank you very much for sure. Like I say, even here, United States, they got the independent in 1776, so they still talking politics. They took it in the wrong direction in the first place because when you got your independent, there's a lot of up and down. They fought for the very very deadly civil war between South and the North, Confederate and Northern under the leadership of Abraham Lincoln. So then Confederate under the leadership of Jefferson David. I believe I think I'm right. So at the end, Jefferson David will capture it, and then no more Confederate. That's why now perfect union. Now we are part of it. The United States of America. They changed the system, and then now they adopt the democracy that we all are beneficial of it, and international, not only in South Sudan community or South Sudanese community. And then to my response to you, I think the notion that some people can assume I'm Guy the tribalist, or maybe I know two of you, three of you, Biluluk included, because you are my brother. You originally bloodly, you are Noor, Western Noor. And then something I never heard from you, but I knew it from other people that I can assume for sure. Yeah, we are mixed. There's a lot of Noor, they're part of Dinka blood. We are mixed. We are one people. So you can see how our action and then our nature, how we, how we hack. So we are all the same. Anyway, there's a lot of Noor, so they move to Dinka, a lot of Dinka, they move to Noor. We are mixed. But this is not the part of it. So to clarify something to you, because people talk about that, even Dinka, not only Nuer, talking about, well, look, you go back to the Nuer community, and then because you are terrorizing the Dinka community. To the topic, I'm not a tribalist. I'm a radical. I don't hide. If something being said by Nuer, I don't hide. I say it right away. I don't hide. I think that is the system of Nuer. We don't know how we are radical. Nuer, we believe in democracy. We believe in any right. So that's why we don't have a kingdom like Dinka. So everything being shared together, and then if something wrong, and then if majority believes that this is wrong, and then we have to change it right now, not tomorrow. We don't like it, and this is how this is the nature of the Nuer community, and I think part of Dinka also because we are one tribe, or in the first place. And then I'm not a tribalist. Even if I talk on my show, organize the White Army, not because to organize the White Army to target the Dinka in Upper Nile region or somewhere in Bargadal or even some part of the Equatorial region. The White Army response, the event of 2013, I think the Dinka community, you guys, you knew it something. When the issue become a political issue organized, shared by Dr. Machar on December 6, 2013, it was not a Nuer conference that is chaired by Dr. Machar.
There's something, okay, there's something I want to really jump in there.
Coming. I know I'm coming. So
no, Guyball, there's something that I'm going to forget. I want to point out only for like 1 second.
Okay.
For you to generalize all the Nuer is unfair. All right? Because you know what? That's not how the Nuer are. That is wrong. That point is wrong.
That is stereotype, and it is implicit. I mean, it is actually explicit bias.
And
Okay?
genocide,
Yeah, the Nuer don't behave in a certain way. No, it's wrong.
Nuer genocide?
I mean, you said actually that is how we Nuer are, that we are radical. That's not true.
Okay, that's your opinion. It's okay. That's fine. That's your opinion. It is an opinion. That's fine. That's
Even
good.
all the Nuer will not agree with you.
That's your own opinion. That's fine. Let me question, because this is my turn. I know. I mean, so the December 6th, December 6th, 2013 event, it was not a newer meeting chaired by Dr. Machar. It was a political conference, a national political conference, a concern by all South Sudanese. Something terribly went wrong. When political change into a terrible situation at the night of December 15, it become a newer issue, a newer problem. It only target the newer door-to-door killing for SPLM political issue. And this is what anger a lot of Nuer. We have lost more than 20,000 in Juba alone. Only Nuer being targeted in their homes. In Juba, all right? You cannot go to airport. You cannot drive a car. Their car has been taken. Their house been burned and looted and owned by other people forcefully. What will be the position of the Nuer community if they cannot take it militarily? When we take it militarily, we are not targeting Bienka. Think about Borton, Malakal, and Bentiu. We only target the military base that is still supporting Salva Kiir. We did not target innocent Dinka community. What we did, yes, we have a power to remove Salva Kiir militarily, and that's a mission. We remove Salva Kiir from Borton, from Malakal, from Bentiu. We are heading to Juba, forcefully to remove that system. Wow, become a tribal system. Therefore, we have to remove it militarily. Even if, let us assume, even if Dr. Machar made a coup against Salva Kiir, it could not be turned in that kind of direction by targeting the Nuer alone. They can protect the Nuer in the town. They can only pursue Dr. Machar, whether they will arrest him or kill him. And that's how politics being used. And that's not the direction Salva Kiir and his group are doing. And that's what keeps the majority in silence, because you knew it, what's going on. It is this is the opportunity for Dianka that we have to kill them, because particularly the Dianka Boer, the Remusha made a coup against the late Dr. John Gregg 1991. Therefore, they kill out a lot in Boton. When in fact this is a fight in the city, not just targeting the children and the women. So the reason why the Dinka did not join the rebellion, you knew it, guys. You knew it. That's why it only target the Nuer, and that's what if not 100% Dinka are supporting the killing. I can say 90% Dinka are supporting the Nuer target in Juba, and that's what keep Dinka not to join rebellion. That's the fact.
Krieg, I have a question. To Guyball, because
I'm coming to different area because I want
that long talk is not.
So the reason why Dianka did not join the rebellion and after the event of 2013, because you guys knew what you're doing. You just want to target the Nuer. You want to kill Dr. Machar. You want to kill the Nuer, and that's what happened. And there is no way a Dianka majority can join the rebellion, because you have the plan to kill the Nuer, and that's what prevent Dianka to join the rebellion. All right, we the Nuer, all right, we knew it. All right, it become a Nuer issue. Why is the Dinka politician, the Shuluk politician, the Equatorian politician, they are not being targeted? Their community is not being targeted, only Nuer. And that's why we took it as a Nuer issue. And what we did, not to target the Dinka. What we did, the move to remove Salva Kiir forcefully. That's why we are heading to Juba. The White Army, they have a power to go to Juba. We remove Salva Kiir force in Boton. If we only target Dinka, what about the Dinka of the tree, and then the Boer, all the Dinka community in Boer? If we only target Dinka, why we leave them there? They stay in the house. So that's not the issue. The Dinka community take it as a political issue to kill the Nuer. That's why they cannot join rebellion or Dr. Machar. And that's the point. And you knew it. So, because I think this is a long time, it's very long for me. To make it short, I'm not a tribalist. When I organize the White Army, I'm not organizing the White Army to target the Dinka. I'm organizing the White Army to join together so that to remove Salva Kiir from power. Because we have power to remove Salva Kiir. We do have a power to remove Salva Kiir. But Dr. Machar, the guy being hated by majority 90 Dinka community, 90% Dinka community, is a guy who fighting for unity among all South Sudanese. A guy who fighting for forgiveness. To forgive those who killing Noor.
Guyball, your volume.
So,
your volume is gone.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, now you're okay.
So I think someone called me. Someone has called me. If you hear me, I will make it short. So I'm not a tribalist. So the reason why Denga did not join the rebellion after the event of 2013, because you guys knew what you're doing. The targeting of the Nuer, the Denga have a plan to kill the Nuer, if not majority, 100% Denga, few Denga politicians, they have a plot to kill Nuer. And that's what prevent them to join rebellion. If you guys talking about Dinka being killed in Botown, in Malakal, in Bentiu, it is not a genocide. It was a crossfire when the city being targeted by the White Army and those who defect from the Salva Kiir regime. They only target the military base, not the civilian. I cannot deny that civilians have not been killed. Yes, people lost their life, but not because they were targeted like Juba target when the system of Salva Kiir targeting the Nuer. It were the crossfire. I cannot deny that. Yes, people die in Juba, in Bor, in Malakal, in Bentiu, but not a systematic killing targeting the Dinka. It were the fight. Majority of people, they are soldiers. Women and children, yes, lost their life. A crossfire. This is not because the Nuer went there and killing the Dinka. What about
Well, I think Guyball is actually frozen. James, you can jump in, or a coach. Then we have to close the show. Thank you.
Let me jump in, Billy. Coach will come.
Go ahead. I think this is going to be a non-stop debate.
Yeah, the only thing the reason why, to the viewers who are watching, the reason why I'm arguing with Guyball, because I know his intelligence is a little bit limited, is simply because these are the people who mobilized the White Army in 2013 and pumped a lot of money into South Sudan so that these guys can rise against what they felt like there was killing in Juba. I totally agree with Guyball. The Nuer were killed in Juba because I was there. They were killed. Door-to-door killing happened. There's no denial. I lived in Miao Saba. The reason why I believe Guyball is lying, because he said he's not a tribalist, is simply because he's not answering my questions. My questions are, after the people of South Sudan learned that Nuer were killed in Juba, they turned around and the killing of Dinka in Malakal, Dinka in Akobo, and I know people were even killed in the UN compound in Akobo. And these were officers who were taken from Jonglei to go and work in Akobo. These people were shot in front of the UN. I know very well people were actually all gathered in Nasser in the commissioner's compound and shot dead simply because they were Dinkas. And these were civilians who went there to do business. I know very well that the people of Ruweng including the people of Vietnam, were shot dead in Bentiu simply because they were Dinkas. So for Guy Bull to say, I mean, if you look at the hospital in Bor in 2013, how many people were killed? Women, vulnerable women, girls, raped and maimed and humiliated simply because of their tribal identity. The hospital of John Dow in Duke was actually looted, raped, and destroyed. It is these people, and this is why I actually want to come live, because I don't come live. I want to argue, and I want to station the facts to all the people who are watching. Because you know what? A lot of things are being said on social media, and nobody is responding to them. What happened in South Sudan was a mess. Guy Bull and the people who are allied to him are not answering the question. What was the connection between these civilians in Akobo, these civilians in Nasser, these civilians in Malakal, these civilians in Rang, these civilians in Bentiu? What was their relationship with Matiang Anyor, who killed the Nuer door to door in Juba? If I were Riek Machar, this is what I would have done. And you know what? Guy Bull is actually making a mistake of preaching about Riek Machar. What is his relationship with Riek Machar? Riek Machar may not even know him. He's not even he may not even benefit from his leadership. I don't think he has even ever met Riek Machar in person. Simply because he's a Nuer. This is tribalism here, Guy Bull. Let's not do this. Okay? Let us say, okay, the reason why people were killed in all these cities because of the people who died in Juba was tribalism, nothing else. And you know what? Maybe those who killed the Nuer in Juba are still alive. They're still there. Because you know what? The White Army tried to come to Juba and they did not reach. They didn't come. They were defeated along the way. And it doesn't matter who defeated them. I don't want an argument. People will say it was Uganda who defeated them. Of course, maybe. Because you know what? What were they coming to do in Juba? Were they coming to lead people? No. They were coming to kill. So the world has to react. And they will push back. Okay? So when they were pushed back, they did not even reach to Juba. So most of the people who killed the Nuer in Juba are still alive right now. They're there. And you know what? If fighting break out again, they will still do the same thing. Why do you punish the wrong people? If this was not tribalism. Here's my general point, okay? I want the people of Greater Upper Nile to unite and stop tribalism. Let's stop it. Because you know what? Oil pollution is killing us. And we cannot solve this problem until we unite. We need to unite. Federalism is not a priority because what is it going to do to us? What change is it going to bring? Let us put all these young people to school, girls and boys, put them to good schools so that they can become educated. You know what? Everywhere I went, and I moved around the camps. I've been to Kakuma, and I've talked to a lot of Nuer young people there. I told one of the sultans, tell the people in the groups to stop fighting, because this fighting that was happening in the group in Kakuma, I was there. I saw it. I told them, this is not why you are here. Go to school so that you can become like me. You can become like all these people, like Guy Bull, so that you make your money. Because I said before, Guy Bull cannot even carry a gun. He has not even gone to war, never. And he will never, I know that. He just want to actually incite people in the villages to go to war and get killed. Please, let's not do that. Let's stop it. Any young person who's watching me right now must put in mind that put your relative to school. Take them out of the front line, because this war is not going to benefit you. You either die or you stay without education, period. This is the reality. Riek Machar will die very soon. Kir Mayar will die soon. These guys are old. They're very old. Why can you, this young Nuer person, want to become like Riek Machar? Why don't you become like Riek Machar? Why do you want to die for an old man who's dying already? Okay? So Guy Bull has not answered my questions, period. And I think I've defeated him. I'm done. Sorry. I'm talking too much.
Guy Bull, I'm not sure whether you are around, so you can come back and
you could be watching.
I think he's gone for good because he can't handle this. He can't bear with it. So anyway, thank you very much. I think this brings us to the conclusion of our discussion, and we're looking forward. Maybe tomorrow, Professor James would like to come and address the concern of the environmental pollution. There was a letter drafted. I don't know who drafted that letter. I was looking for it so I can bring it to the public spotlight through the media and read it out to the public. I think somebody dropped a letter again the oil producing company. I don't know what is the content of that article, and I'm still looking out for it. Maybe if you have it, you can send it to me so that I can actually make a show tomorrow about it, so we can come and discuss it. And there is another letter that I would want to bring to public attention as well. Is the letter that was drafted by the Ruweng politician and concerned citizen of Ruweng, was actually directed against one of the vice president, Taban Dengai, that actually explained everything about why we have this tension with our neighbors. So we have to make sure we expose that content of the letter to the general public, so they have to consume the content of it. This is what media is all about. So things don't have to be localized these days. They have to be exposed to the public, so they have to be informed about what the politician or what the leaders and citizens are actually presenting out there. So what do you think about those suggestions?
No, it's good. I mean, the petition that is actually moving is actually circulating on social media. I saw it on WhatsApp. And maybe if somebody who's watching has it, can post it somewhere and send it to you. I wasn't part of it. My name is not there. And because I actually warned people a long time ago that I don't need to be, I don't want my name to be put on papers without my permission. So I don't have it. And yeah, so I am willing to come in at a time because I really want to argue with people like Gaibo. Yeah, I didn't want to argue with them. What I need you to do is please control the meeting. You need to time people's talk. So
absolutely.
That the people who were here wanted to say something, but they're all gone right now. You can either give people 5 minutes so that, one can come back and then, the rotation can really be very easy. But if you allow one person to talk for too long, it becomes really boring.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is quite disrespectful when people jump in with the interjection, then people will start blaming me, why are you interrupting, so and so. But that's the way it's not supposed to be, every media
you just need to control it. You need to control it, yeah. And you know what? Before you even start making the show, you need to actually lay down the ground rules. That these are the rules that we're going to respect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Next time. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really thank
you for your time. Yeah. People should actually know you. Some people are surprised to see you anyway for the first time. People like Guy Wolf, they don't know that you are actually on the media and that you are trolling them. They never know. So maybe they are surprised today. You should also understand the so-called Dr. Dol Arjun is the same coin of those of Guy Bull as well.
But he has good ideas. Let me tell you. He actually has good ideas.
He's just confusing. He's confusing sometimes.
Well, people learn. Let me tell you.
But people learn. Always make them.
Nobody will have to stay permanent. People are not stagnant. People change their mind. People learn. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. I want to teach people so that we can unite the people in Upper Nile.
Okay, if I may add, Dol Arjun, he pretend like he's not. When I confront him about the issues of the Ruweng borders and the terrestrial annexation conspiracies, they will always run away for that. They don't want to debate me on that particular issues.
Yeah,
so I
know
how they roll here on the street.
They don't want to be misquoted.
No, that's not good. It's not fair. So that's why it doesn't make sense in his political campaign on social media. He claimed to be running his own briefcase political party. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, my goal, Billy, look, and the people are watching. We need to open up the boundaries of dialogue, because you know what? If we don't open up ourselves, we are not going to reach any consensus of anything. And you know what? We need to rise beyond tribalism. Yeah, Jamana. What is the point of these people coming to ruin and loot cattle when we are people of one country? Why? What is the point of people leaving Bentiu, go to a Vietnam and kill people there and actually loot the cattle when we are people of one country? Okay? And the intellectuals who are there actually don't stand up and rebuke what is going on. What is the point of them coming to die? Because you know they are confronted, and even if it is one person who gets killed, there is no pride in killing people, Jamana. Khalas Tariq, I'm done. I need to go to sleep.
Hey, Ian, thank you. I have to go to sleep too. I'm feeling a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Bye-bye
time
now.
like it's a full season.
All right. You can close your show. I will leave.
All right, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Billy Luke, I think our show has come to the conclusion. And the main topic of the discussion was all about South Sudan. It is structurally the model of the federal system. Nevertheless, it required a constitutional amendment to make it a practical federalism. That is basically what was the theme of my discussion today. This is what we have been discussing all along. But after we exhausted this particular topic, that's when the topic began to shift it away from the main theme to a different topic. So I apologize for that inconvenience, but you should all understand that the current South Sudan government structure is based on the federal system. However, it is not practically a federalism in the sense that the powers of the central government and the powers of the state are not being separated. And that is why we are trying to rebuttal the critics and the opposition parties out there that are campaigning that there is no federal system in South Sudan, that South Sudan is actually structurally modeled on federal system, with the exception that it is not administratively being governed on federal system, simply because all the powers are all concentrated under the presidency of South Sudan, which doesn't make it look like a federal system. Therefore, what we are looking for is the political process, and then we want to see a future constitutional amendment made to the transitional constitution of South Sudan. And that is how we can be able to separate the powers of the state and the powers of the national government, which is actually what we allege to federalism. So in that case, that is when we will be able to devolve the powers and decentralize the system. So decentralization and devolution of the powers is the only way we can be able to realize and materialize the system of federalism. And that's how we can be able to achieve it. So I think I have answered to all the critics out there, as well as the opposition parties, that they need to push for political process. We can actually enable the future constitutional amendment of the South Sudan transitional constitution. And that is how we can be able to achieve a practical federalism in South Sudan. So all of us as South Sudanese, we all agree that federalism is the system that we have chosen. But we have seen it being discussed in Rome following the recent summit of the SOMA, all these political parties that met in Rome, that they want to introduce another system in South Sudan, which they refer to as the parliamentary system. So when we talk of parliamentary system, that's when we have the presidency and we have the prime ministership. So this is actually what we allege as the parliamentary system. So, but what we have currently, as we speak, it appears to be a central government. It is a centralized government. But according to the structure in which the government is being designed, it is basically a federal system, with the exception that the powers of the national government and the state government are not being separated. That is where we disagree. So we are actually calling on all the opposition parties, as well as the critics out there, that we should allow the restoration of peace and stability, and that way we can be able to allow the conduct of the fair and free general election in South Sudan. And then after that, when we restore normalcy and tranquility in our country, that's when we will be able to proceed with the political process, which will actually culminate to the constitutional amendment of the transitional constitution of South Sudan. Otherwise, the fact that all these political parties and rebel groups continue to undermine the implementation of the largest peace agreement is the reason why we cannot progress with the practical implementation of the peace agreement. Therefore, the opposition bear the blame of undermining the government to actually implement the peace agreement in letter and spirit. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have to stop here, and this brings us to the end of the program tonight. So I look forward to see you again when I have a topic tomorrow. I will look for those letters that are being circulated on social media pertaining.
laga yedo kuwe.
Right, good night, everybody. I just want to All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the show. Thank you for tuning in. Please like the video and share it. And next time, look out for my live video. Thank you very much. And I appreciate your presence and your view. So see you next time. Check on my wall. Maybe I will come back tomorrow or not. I will let you know. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night, have a good afternoon, or have a good morning, wherever you may be around the globe. Thank you very much.